Iowa, served as Ag Secretary for all 8 years of the Obama administration. Congresswoman Marcia Fudge, who's represented Ohio's 11th congressional district for the last 12 years, will be nominated to serve as Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Dennis McDonough, who served as President Obama's Chief of Staff, will be nominated to serve as Secretary of Veterans Affairs. And Susan Rice, who served as President Obama's National Security Advisor, will serve as the Director of the White House Domestic Policy Council.
Fox's John Decker in Washington. President Trump's election challenges continue in court. America is listening to Fox News.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Carolers! That's the holiday spirit. Speaking of which, Simply Safe Home Security is having a huge holiday sale. Right now, you can get 40% off a new system and a free camera at simplysafe.com/holiday. That's 40% off the system U.S. News named the best of 2020. Simply Safe protects your whole home 24/7 with monitoring by professionals. The sale ends soon, so go to simplysafe.com/holiday for 40% off and a free camera today.
Do not hire Franklin & Sons Electrical. The guy told me he'd shrink my monthly bill, and I'm like, dude, it's too small to read as it is.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then he's like, where's the circuit breaker? I'm like, bro, I didn't break anything.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
He told me I had a blown fuse. It's called a short fuse, and yes, I do have one, so watch yourself.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
A good-looking Thursday across the St. Louis area. Plenty of sunshine, though chilly this morning. Looking for a nice warm-up of 65 degrees. No records, but that's 20 degrees above average. Tonight, partly cloudy, only dropping back to 40 degrees. Friday, clouds, rain for the afternoon on Friday, 58 degrees. Rain continues Friday night. 45 for the low. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Starting Monday, 97.1 and The Mark Cox Show are bringing you a week of hope for the holiday season to benefit SSM Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. Cardinal Glennon features some of the best pediatric experts in St. Louis and serves more than 200,000 children each year, regardless of their ability to pay. You're invited to share in the gratitude, joy, or sympathy by designating your support at Glennon.org. It's a week of hope, starting Monday on 97.1 FM Talk.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it's a right fit for you. And check out the podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's digital editor, Megan Crane.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey guys, Glover here. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market games without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the DGS.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. Have you locked in on your refinance yet? What are you waiting for? Mortgage rates are still in the twos, but you need to get locked in now. You could be saving hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month. And how nice would it be to pay off all the credit cards and have cash in the bank? Get pre-approved for whatever lies ahead with a simple refinance. Apply online today with our 5-minute loan approval, only available at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Donations to the Tree of Hope support the areas of greatest need at SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. Go to Glennon.org and let them know that 97.1 told you the Tree of Hope needs your help. Join 97.1 FM Talk and give the gift of hope today at Glennon.org.
You are looking to lose weight. It's a difficult process to go through. I understand that. I respect that. Have dealt with it myself. I want to talk to you about Slim 180 because they helped me lose over 40 pounds with the rapid weight loss program with a medically supervised HCG product. I went there. I went through their counseling. They tell you how to do the diet. You go to the store and you buy food at the store. You don't have to buy prepackaged food, and they set you up for success. It is a process that, for me at least, I lost weight so quickly, it was drastic. I went down 2 pant sizes pretty quickly, and I was able to keep the weight off. If you were looking to get your weight in check, whether you're losing 10 pounds or wanting to lose 200 pounds, Slim 180 can help you do this. They also have a traditional program and a quick start lipo lean program. They have 6 locations for you in O'Fallon, St. Charles, Sunset Hills, Creve Coeur, Chesterfield, and Florissant, but they are also meeting with counselors and doctors one-on-one in person or remotely if it makes you feel more comfortable that way. Call 888-754-6111. That's 888-754-6111 and schedule your consultation today online at myslim180.com.
Facts presented fairly. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Stream the station anytime at 971talk.com or download the app for your phone at radio.com. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Pretty big day today when it comes to the lawsuit against the 4 states that are having a few difficulties with their vote. Or they say everything's great, but no, there's not. So just so you know that at 2:00 our time, that is when the responses from Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan are due into the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, we're not going to probably know exactly what they are at 2:00 or at 2:01, but this is kind of a big day in this lawsuit over the presidential election. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey. It's 12:09 here. So as we learn more about that, because I know Annie talked about that a lot yesterday, as we know more about that, we'll let you know. So nothing's going to happen today, but other than that reply, probably. But Ryan, next 48 hours is going to possibly be a huge news cycle because there's just not much time to actually make something happen on this one way or the other.
No, I actually asked a friend of mine, can they get all this in time, knowing that today is the deadline for the defense? And he said, yeah, they actually they could hear it even on Saturday. Yeah. I don't know that that's common, but apparently they can, because the usual, I'm going to say, because it doesn't always have to be this way, but the usual deadline to file electors is the 14th. That's Monday. So there's a lot to know in a very, very short period of time here. And we're going to be keeping a close eye on any developments with that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like I said, because right now there's just, we don't have anything to tell you that's new, but we might in the afternoon. So as we learn more, we will let you know. Here's a few other things that are on the radar today. Here in about, about 15 minutes or so, we're going to visit with Congressman Rodney Davis from Illinois. Oh, boy, not like they don't have a few things on their radar right now. So there's actually a race in Iowa that is so close, Congress might actually decide that. And that's really strange. You're thinking, wait a minute, why don't they just keep counting? And if somebody wins by one, they win by one. So I'm a little curious about that myself. Obviously, we have this Congressman Eric Swalwell situation. What, man, this is
wild.
Wow. I mean, it's not shocking that a politician, maybe allegedly, because I have to say allegedly, so you can't sue anybody here, allegedly gets into a sex scandal, but he ends up on the Intelligence Committee after being in some kind of contact with somebody who turns out to be a Chinese spy.
Yeah.
Doesn't get more sketchy than that.
His defense is terrific.
Yeah.
It's I think he said, well, this is just Trump trying to get back at me for for impeaching him, which has absolutely nothing to do with Trump. It was an Axios report that lasted a year and a half that apparently he's saying Trump had to be in on that.
And he was actually, he knew there was a problem before Trump was in office on this as well. So this is all coming to light now. And it's just a lesson for everybody, just like your social media post. Sometimes your dalliances just never go away. Always worry that they're going to pop up over your shoulder.
Yes. And isn't it funny? It all leads back to Trump. Like,
I know, it's all Trump's fault.
Goes back to Trump. No matter what,
Yeah.
no matter who's involved, it always goes back to him.
Oh, for crying out loud. All right, here's a few other things that are happening. Let's see here. Of course, as we mentioned, with the election lawsuit from Texas, Missouri, as I think Annie was talking about yesterday, Missouri is one of the states that joined in that lawsuit and supporting that lawsuit. The Washington Times described Missouri as leading the effort to support that Texas lawsuit. This is Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt's take on this.
Essentially, that under the constitutionality, the electors clause, which designates the state legislatures that make those laws, the court changed it. Another example that's cited here is in Milwaukee, for example, in Democrat counties, they ignored the law and allowed voters in those Democrat counties to cure the ballots. They were open before Election Day. They weren't supposed to be able to do that. In Wayne County in Michigan, they just forgot about and ignored the signature requirement. What we know is, look, this is a bipartisan issue. The Carter-Baker Commission from 20 years ago said mail-in balloting creates the most opportunity for fraud if you don't have important safeguards, like counting them on Election Day and having signature requirements. All those were parts of the law in those states. They were just simply ignored.
So we may have more information here in a couple hours. I doubt it, but there might be something new by the end of the program. If not, you know, Mark Cox and Annie are going to be all over it tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit. Mark, I said Mark Cox. Mike, what are your feelings about this Texas suit? Because this one, we've over the last few weeks, it's been like trying to play whack-a-mole, trying to follow all these different suits in different states and where they're at and who's going to hear what. But this one is the big one. I mean, what are your opinions on
Okay,
this
so all the lawsuits you mentioned before, you're talking about the ones that Sidney Powell has filed, the ones that Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis. Those are all a separate set of lawsuits. Those have almost entirely lost everywhere they've been. I mean, those lawyers are like almost over in those. This one goes directly to the Supreme Court because this one state is suing 4 other states. And so I think their argument is really interesting. Now, let me just start this part by saying I think Joe Biden is going to be the president come January 20th. I think that's who's getting sworn in on January 20th. That's my guess. I don't see, any reason to think that he won't be, although I know there's a lot of people really hopeful that this lawsuit will change it. This has been described as kind of a Hail Mary. Hans von Spakovsky, for instance, at Heritage, who's on the station a lot, has said this is kind of a last minute Hail Mary pass to try to stop the results from going into certification, basically. Because like you said, Ryan, Monday is when the Electoral College meets. Monday is when the president of the United States is actually elected. And every single state now has certified their results. And so the Supreme Court, if they take it up, they are going to have to make a decision before Monday. And I think that's really unusual. I would be surprised if the Supreme Court decides to put the constitutional process of electing a president on hold. But the argument that Texas is making is actually very logical. The U.S. Constitution specifically says state legislatures are supposed to run the elections. They are supposed to set the rules for that. They're supposed to, write the laws that govern that sort of thing. And in all of these 4 states, somebody outside of the legislature changed the rules. whether it was we're going to mail ballots out to people whether they liked it or not, and if the law didn't allow it. In Georgia saying, no, we're just going to, and Pennsylvania, we're going to ignore the signature matching, even though that's a requirement by law. In Pennsylvania and other places, we're going to accept ballots days after the election, even though the law doesn't say that. So what they're arguing is the Constitution requires these state legislatures to abide by their own laws. And if they break their own laws, they are actually acting in violation of the Constitution. It's actually more logical than I think what a lot of people think, that it's just another, Rudy Giuliani lawsuit trying to throw mud at the wall. It's really not. This is actually a serious constitutional question.
Yeah, all the arguments I've heard against the case, which are what you just said, that say, well, it's a Hail Mary, partially because it's just so we're running out of time. Yeah. But the biggest argument I keep hearing from people both on the show, we interviewed Hans von Spakovsky and many people over the last week with this one
Monday, I think, is when we had Hans on.
Yeah. And Steve Cortez was yesterday. A lot of people are saying, yes, it's a long shot just because they think the court won't want to weigh into such a divisive or such a prickly issue and make themselves the center of attention, because the Supreme Court tends to not want to do that.
Yeah.
But the merits of this case are such that you just outlined them. I mean, they're solid legal cases. There's no doubt about that. So my argument is the opposite, that, well, they don't want to wade in because they don't want to overturn anything. The opposite would be that they have to weigh in. Otherwise, what they're saying is without ruling on it, that at any point in the future, any governor could declare an emergency or executive order on anything regarding the election. And it would be law. It would just be the way it is. And it would override every state legislature from now on. And every election would be, beyond what we already have been talking about, every election would have this fraudulent tinge to it, because they could make different laws for every election if they wanted to.
Yeah, I think, Ryan, you're along with what you're saying. And let me add to that, because I think you're absolutely right. I think that the questions right now, I know to a lot of people, it's, life or death. Will Donald Trump get a second term? To me, it's much bigger than whether or not Joe Biden or Donald Trump is president come January 20th. To me, it is a matter of what you were saying, Ryan, is can we trust our election process? If we cannot trust it at all, well, let's just look at history around the world as to what happens if people lose faith in their ability to elect their representatives in states that used any kind of democracy whatsoever, or whether it was just a sham democracy. I think you have just simply a new industry of trying to rig elections and stuff ballot boxes, because that's the precedent that we set. We've got to be able to put the fear of God in every single election official in the country by 2022, or this is what we're going to have every election cycle after this. And if that happens, people just disengage, they tune out, and it goes really bad. Let's put it that way.
And they don't vote.
They
will not vote, which is the most important thing.
Right.
Yeah. Which is the battle over Georgia right now. A lot of people saying, well, I don't even want to participate because I'm so fed up with the process. And other people saying, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, precisely. And that's the thing is, and there are other things, like, for instance, if let's say that the slimmest of slim chances come to fruition and the Supreme Court says, we're going to take the case, we rule in Donald Trump's favor, somehow all of this ends up with those electoral votes, or at least like 3 of those states. If 3 of those states flip, then Donald Trump wins. I think any 3 of the 4. But if that happens, all of the violence we've seen throughout 2020, that's going to look like a Boy Scout jamboree compared to what happens after that.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. I don't think, Mike, and I know we're almost out of time this segment. We've got all day to talk about this.
We do.
But I don't think that we're going to see the Supreme Court rule in favor of Donald Trump or in favor of the states and say, so those states have to award their electors to Donald Trump. My guess is that a victory in the Supreme Court case would look like them saying, we think that there were problems. This should never happen again.
Yeah.
And now we will leave it to, as the Constitution says, to the state electors to decide what to do with that information.
Yeah, I absolutely. And so even if the facts are on the side of the Trump campaign, time is not. So there's a lot of people who, frankly, are smarter than me, who are giving their punditry and giving their expectations and predictions of what the Supreme Court's going to do. We've got 3 new justices on the Supreme Court from Donald Trump's term. I don't think anybody can predict what the Supreme Court's going to do. So just one of the things that we are watching. We'll get your thoughts on that throughout the afternoon. Just next, coming up here in about 4 minutes or so, Congressman Rodney Davis, Illinois 13th District, metalhead, which is really what it's all about. He joins us. Man, he's got a lot on his plate, including one of his colleagues on the Intelligence Committee. Should Eric Swalwell be there? That's just one of the things we're talking about. I'm Mike Ferguson, in for Annie Frey.
You've heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
We have to walk a winding. And all the
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law online at beckelderlaw.com, your go-to place when it's time to get that estate planned. And if it hasn't been planned yet, it is time to get that estate planned. You do not want to put this off to a point where you have to make it under some emotional duress. That's not a great way to go. You want to be able to have this conversation, especially if you have to do it with a significant other, where you are confident and comfortable talking about the details. And when you reach out to Rudy Beck and Jay Lennox and Carolyn Diker at Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law, they've seen it all and they've heard it all. I've listened to them tell stories about working with people who had to deal with what they refer to as outlaws. If you've got people in your family that you need to plan this estate around, they know exactly how to go about doing that and to execute this exactly the way you want it to be done. 636-946-7899. Call them and ask for a free consultation if you have no estate plan done. 636-946-7899 and mention the Annie Frey Show when you do. Visit them online at beckelderlaw.com.
Attention St. Louis homeowners. Are you looking to sell your house without all the stress? Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can buy your house cash and close on your timeline. No commissions, no repairs, no appraisals, no showings, no headache. Call Chris now, 314-782-7000, or go online to chrisbuysHomesSTL.com to get a free no-obligation cash offer for your house. Behind on payments? The tenant stopped paying the rent? The house needs too many repairs? Not a problem. Chris buys houses in any condition and deals with any situation. There's a reason why Chris Buys Homes is the most trusted home buyer in St. Louis. Go online to get your offer today. chrisbuysHomesSTL.com or call 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Omaha Steaks. You can find them at omahasteaks.com. If you go to the search bar at the top of the page, you type in my last name, Glover, and it's going to take you to our own little section of the website where you get the DGS deal, the Deluxe Grillers assortment featuring Omaha Steaks butcher's cut filet mignons. These beauties are perfectly aged, hand-carved, and famously fork tender. Also included in the package are tons of incredible meats, amazing sides, and the infamous Omaha Omaha Steaks desserts. So if you need a reason to celebrate in this very strange year of 2020, or just a way to celebrate, go to omahasteaks.com, locate the search bar, type in my last name Glover, go to the separate page of the website where you're going to get this great offer. It's also going to include 4 free burgers and a free digital meat thermometer. These are great products from our friends at Omaha Steaks. That's omahasteaks.com, search bar Glover.
The DGS, Hardee's, and Operation Food Search together again. 2020 has seen a rise in food shortages for St. Louis area families. You can help by donating at area Hardee's and get your DGS 2020 sticker while supplies last.
Never made it as a wise man. I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing. Tired of living like a blind man. I'm sick aside without a sense of feeling. And this is how you remind me.
So if you're a member of Congress, let's say, you're a little bit busy right now. Just a few things going on.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I mean, I know, the holidays are here and you want to kind of kick back and go sledding with the kids or whatever, but you may get some calls from the office. I'm Mike Ferguson, 1227, in for Andy Frey, obviously. Let's ask one of them about it. So we've got Congressman Rodney Davis from Illinois. Congressman, good to talk to you again. Not a typical laid-back holiday season for y'all right now.
Mike, it's not. But, I'm still dancing to the Nickelback that Katie had queued up there. Hey, what an intro. Thank you, Katie. Thank you so much.
No problem.
It's crazy. I'm out here. Thanks. I'm out in D.C. right now, and it's very frustrating. We ought to be able to get a new package put together, but Speaker Pelosi, she continues to admit that she's politics with the livelihoods of our mom and pop.
Yeah, Congressman, and there's Josh Hawley is now promoting a plan that would give another payment to everybody. And I mean, I'm sure everybody says, boy, that's great. That money came in handy last time, but we got to borrow that money. We're adding to the national debt by doing this. I mean, so when you consider all of that, the immediate needs and the already crushing debt we've had, what's the right decision to make right now?
Well, I can tell you when I got elected to Congress eight years ago, I never thought that I would vote for a package of bills that, are going to cost $2 trillion. But we've never been through a pandemic in my lifetime, and it was necessary to keep our economy going. We did the right thing. There's money. As a matter of fact, there's over $130 billion from pre-bills that we already passed.
I think we still have him.
I'm going to put,
count out here.
There you are, sort of.
Rodney, I'm going to put you on hold just really quickly and see if we can get a better connection with you.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So we were getting the partial that answer. We're talking to Congressman Rodney Davis from Illinois. And Ryan, that's one of the tough things right now because Josh Hawley is saying we need another $1,200 per person, $500 per kid. Because, man, when that first came in that first time, you saw that show up in your account or you got the check and you're like, well, that's great. But then you consider another couple $1 trillion added to the national debt. I mean, at some point, does somebody have to say, whoa, we need to think about this or other possible options?
Yeah, if you're a fiscal conservative, you're in a tight spot because you're saying, well, the remedy to fixing the economy is, of course, to open the economy.
Right.
So that's, number one, but in light of the fact that there are big areas of the country where that's not happening, and honestly, even if we just decided as a country to open it up all of a sudden, a lot of people are going to be hesitant to go to restaurants. So it's not going to be that things pick up quickly, even if we did just open things up. So, you do have to look at things like this as possible options. And, when you're in Congress, you don't always get to be an idealist. You have to be pragmatic at times. And this sounds like one of those times. I respect Rodney's position on it.
And I think we've got him back right now. Congressman, you're back on.
I am. I was trying to act like I couldn't talk, so I get another round of Nickelback. But you guys didn't give me any more music, man.
See, that's what I told Katie we were talking about when you're coming back. I said, just remind him that I'm the fellow metalhead here. So, and she was talking about the copyright stuff. And I'm like, it's not about that. It's about the brotherhood of metal. That's what it's all about.
let's compare our concert shirts, the black shirts with the white sleeves, and see if they still fit us.
Yeah, the answer to that is no. But if you were really cool, of course, you cut out the sleeves, which is what my Def Leppard shirt looked like back in about like '88.
That was a great tour. If only we could use Def Leppard and have tours like this pay for that debt you were talking about, and also get our economy going again.
Katie, if you're paying attention, the title of this blog is Rodney Davis Pretends Not to Talk to Radio Hosts so that he can hear more Nickelback.
Might be too long of a title.
Yeah, maybe. That's up to you. That's your problem. That's not my problem. Congressman Rodney Davis, as we were talking about that stimulus spending bill, are you guys looking at, like you said, there's a lot of money that seems to have been misused from the first bill. Are there going to be protections if there is another one passed?
There's got to be. Number one, a lot of the dollars that were appropriated in April and even back in March as part of our CARES Act bills, they're still sitting there. Mm-hmm. So we have to decide what's there so we don't just throw money at a problem when there are billions upon billions, hundreds of billions in the PPP's case that's just sitting here in Washington, D.C. And we've got to make sure the Democrats are reminded that we're just not going to spend money because they say so. Now, when you look at states like Illinois has taken the hundreds of billions of dollars we've given them over this pandemic, and they have an abysmal record of getting those dollars out to those who need it the most. As a matter of fact, just a few weeks ago, I saw an article in my local newspaper where Governor Pritzker's worried that because his administration didn't give out the CARES Act dollars to businesses fast enough, that they're not going to have as many apply and they're going to have to send it back to the federal government. Whose fault is that? His.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me move on because we just got, about 5-6 minutes left here, Congressman. Obviously, today's going to be a big day at the Supreme Court. The 4 states that Texas is suing have to respond today. I don't think we're going to know a whole lot more today about it. But do you foresee anything that could actually stop Joe Biden from becoming president at this point? I know it's been pointed out that you're one of those who were hesitant to say President-elect Joe Biden, which technically wouldn't be true until after Monday anyway. But what's your take on where this entire situation is?
And it's ironic that, I don't know what the mainstream media is going to do when President Trump may not be there to kick around anymore. I don't know what questions we're going to get asked, that are actually going to mean something. I don't call anybody president-elect until the Electoral College meeting. Yeah. That just didn't start this year. But, hey, it is what it is. And in the end, unfortunately, our guy, President Trump, doesn't look like he's going to be able to have the electoral votes. And it's very frustrating when we see a lot of press conferences with evidence put forth by the president's legal team. And then when you see some of the court filings they make, that evidence clearly doesn't match what was said at the press conference. I don't think at certain times members of his legal team have done him any favors. And I'm anxiously awaiting to see if, number one, the Texas case has any standing. I don't necessarily see where they have standing to actually file that case, but we'll see what the judges say.
Congressman Rodney Davis, representing Illinois' 13th District, on the phone with us. Congressman, are your constituents in the 13th District, are they coming to you and saying, look, we've got concerns about the election itself? I mean, not the one that we just had. Let's say everything just stays the way it is right now, but going forward, are people saying, their faith in the system has been shaken?
Yeah, absolutely. People call in and they're seeing what is put forth as evidence of voter fraud, and they want it to be investigated, as do I. Every instance of voter fraud should be investigated. Don't let any politician tell you it's so slim, it barely happens. Every single instance matters. We've got a congressional race in Iowa that's now been decided by 6 votes after recounts. And Marinette Miller-Meeks, she's a Republican. She won. She has an election certificate from the state of Iowa. So every single instance of fraud counts. But is it widespread enough to change results? I don't know. We have to be concerned. And the last thing we need is the national government, the federal government, to take over our election process. We are fairer, safer when it comes to our elections than any other country because of how decentralized our election systems are. That's what I'm going to fight to keep and let's let states make their own decisions and localities make their own decisions on how their residents cast votes.
Yeah, let me follow up on when you mentioned the federal government getting involved in those elections. I think that's an excellent point. In that case in Iowa, for example, is that something that could possibly end up in front of you and the rest of the House of Representatives? A lot of people don't realize that that actually is a possibility in an extreme case.
It is a possibility, very, very much so. And as a matter of fact, it would go through the committee that I run for our side, House Administration. And what it would do is the House has the constitutional duty to seat their members. And if Rita Hart, the Democrat who lost in Iowa, files a letter or a motion with the House clerk, she could then take advantage of a political process to see if the majority Democrats will seat her over the duly elected Republican winner, Marionette Miller Meeks. It's something that hasn't happened since 1985, where we saw a seat stolen by Democrats then. And I certainly hope they don't do this, but from what we're hearing in the press, it looks like Democrat Rita Hart is going to try to get Nancy Pelosi to name her to the seat in the House against the will of the voters in Iowa's 2nd District.
Is there a concern for you, Congressman Rodney Davis, that could be, it's been done before, but in such a divided time that we're in, that could become something that becomes more normal?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, that's the message I'm sending to some of my Democratic colleagues. Remember, this won't be done until the next Congress, when then the Democrats will only have about an 8 or 9 seat majority. That means we have to flip 4 to 5 votes just to be able to come with our side to where that election wouldn't be stolen. My message to every single moderate Democrat who's going to have a tough race in 2022, if you vote for this, you set a precedent that I will then lead the charge to unseat you through that same process. And that is wrong. So they've got a chance right now to stand up for what's right instead of allowing Nancy Pelosi to play politics with them and their career.
You would hope that just counting ballots would be the one thing that isn't affected by partisanship, but that's what we've got is we've got enough worry about the political makeup of the vote counters, which is really scary to me. And I hope we can stop this right now, Congressman, because it's, to me, the whole question is bigger than, as I mentioned in the last segment, it's bigger than Joe Biden or Donald Trump. It really comes down to, can we continue to trust our election process? Because if we can't, history tells us things don't go very well for nations after that.
I agree wholeheartedly, which is why we're leading the fight to make sure the Dems don't nuclearize the election process at the federal level. Remember, we saw the presidential race recounted in Georgia 3 times before California and New York decided individual congressional races. And what the Democrats in Washington were trying to do is to implement the same asinine laws that California and New York have that would have just created election months. That's not what the American people want.
All right, Congressman Rodney Davis from Illinois. Good to talk to you again. It's at Rodney Davis on Twitter, and coming to a concert near you once we're allowed to live freely again, right?
Absolutely.
All right, Congressman, good to talk to you again. Thank you so much for the time.
You too. Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, so give us a call here. The number 866-455-9797, 314-241-9797. Do you still have any faith in our election process right now on a national scale? And then also, I want to kind of follow up with something, Ryan, that you said a second ago about the economy coming back, and not everybody's going to run up to restaurants and stuff, which is true, but man, depends on where you are. Some places are doing pretty well. We'll talk about that, all that just ahead on the Annie Frey Show. I'm Mike Ferguson, in for Annie.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality, water heater, and AeroSeal duct sealing services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
Guys, 2020's been a rough year on everyone, and that includes your wife or girlfriend. So spoil her this Christmas by treating her to some rest and relaxation with the world's softest pajamas, exclusively from Pajamagram, America's PJ experts for nearly 20 years. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. They're silky smooth on the outside, soft like a baby bunny on the inside, to wrap her in warmth and comfort all winter long. Just the ticket for melting away her stress and helping her to relax and restore after a long day and year. And right now, when you order today, you'll get a great deal. Free gift packaging. That means you don't have to wrap a thing. Get her the world's softest pajamas and get your free gift packaging today before this deal disappears. Just go to Pajamagram.com. It's fast, easy, and delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. That's Pajamagram.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money, heard every Saturday morning at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Nearly every week, our team meets with clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and in some cases actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion on your retirement plan today. When you work with us at the ClearPath Wealth Management Group, we're committed to providing you with guidance that's in your best interest. No exceptions. To request your free consultation, contact us at bobstockdale.com. That's bobstockdale.com. Again, that's bobstockdale.com. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
The med spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the med spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
Anton's Air Conditioning and Heating is proud to announce they have air sterilization technology, proven to safely kill the COVID-19 virus airborne and on surfaces. Right now, receive a COVID relief finance offer of no. Payments for 18 months. Whether you are home or back in the office, Anton's will make sure your air is safe. Go to antonshvac.com and schedule your free consultation today. And no. Payments for 18 months on all products offered by Anton's Air Conditioning and Heating. No. Payments for 18 months.
Here's an unexpected holiday surprise. A flash sale on all earrings at Diamonds Direct. This weekend, 25% off. This is something we never do, but we made a last-minute decision. All earrings marked down an incredible 25%. Diamond studs, diamond hoops, colored gemstone earrings, all included. It is one truly epic earring event. What woman doesn't love a nice pair of diamond stud earrings for Christmas? Make it happen this weekend and save an unprecedented 25%. Special financing available too. Friday through Sunday only, and only at Diamonds Direct.
Olive and 270 at City Place.
This is Happy from Hardee's. Listen closely. Do you hear that? That's the sizzling sound of 2 1/3 pound juicy Angus beef patties stacked with 4 strips of bacon on the Monster Angus Thick Burger. You're getting hungry for the bacon. You're driving to the Angus beef. But wait, don't take your eyes off the road for the monster. When I snap my star fingers, you'll pull into the nearest Hardee's and order the Monster Angus Thick Burger. Feed your happy.
Available at participating restaurants. Price and participation may vary.
You can ask your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk for information with perspective. Although you don't have to say all the tagline stuff. Just say, play 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Dell Technologies. Call 877-ASK-DELL.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now.
So last night, I needed to get out of the house. I think a lot of people are in that. By the way, Sam Page, I left my house for a reason not approved by you. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey. By the way, it's 12:45. So my wife tells me yesterday morning, she goes, "Hey, remember, I'm having all the ladies from the church small group over tonight." I'm like, "Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's great. Oh, crap. I need to get out of here." No, they're great. They're all great ladies. Don't get me wrong. I like everybody in the group, but I'm like, I'm not going to be the one guy trapped upstairs because, there's,
Totally.
just not doing it.
Yeah, I know.
And so I text some of my baseball teammates. I'm like, hey guys, who wants to get together? And fortunately, my one of my teammates says, yeah, man, let's meet up. And we just went to St. Charles County because obviously everything is being crushed in St. Louis County by Sam Page right now. And I pulled into the restaurant, and the parking lot's just packed. I mean, packed.
That's awesome.
Not every table was full, almost though. And so, a lot of people wearing their masks, and it looks like the restaurant took out a few high tops, so they were a little more spread out. So they weren't complying with what Sam Page would have you do. But everybody's using common sense. It was not a big deal. And it was funny. I was talking to the waitress, and I mentioned that, my daughter works, is on the payroll of one of the restaurants in St. Louis County that's not working right now because they're shut down, and then they may or may not survive this whole thing. And she goes, oh yeah, about half of everybody who comes in here now is from the other side of the river, meaning from St. Louis County.
Yeah, I totally get that.
And last weekend, my wife and my daughter wanted to go out to eat. And I said, well, we got to go to St. Charles County, which is fine with me. And because I mean, I wanted to go. Now I have had a couple black market meals, with restaurants in St. Louis County that are just staying open on the down low. And I'm trying to support them because I have a lot of respect for that. But we went out to the streets of St. Charles. I couldn't even get into a place because there was like an hour and a half wait everywhere that we went on. I think it was Friday night or Saturday night. We ended up going to get some barbecue on Main Street in St. Charles, and it was great. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. I mean, some people wear masks, some people don't wear masks. Everybody's courteous to each other. Everybody's keeping a little bit more distance, but nobody's out there seems to be letting it end your social life or end your ability to get out and do business with others. And it just shows there's a lot more common sense happening in St. Charles County than there is in St. Louis County, and even obviously on the Illinois side with what's going on with the state government there.
Which is it's so unfortunate. And I said this a little bit earlier in the week. I'm happy that St. Charles County is flourishing. I love that. I think that's excellent. Everybody needs somewhere to go, and these businesses need to keep open.
Right.
But when it comes to St. Louis County, which is where I live, my big fear is that the area is going to go down. I'm going to start walking past shops that are boarded up that can't afford to stay open. And then that area is going to be kaputs, basically.
Right.
No one's going to want to go to St. Louis County because there's going to be nothing open.
Yeah, because I want to leave. I have to, not have to, but I also am at the point where I'm like, what businesses, if you're not fighting back at this point, I don't feel bad about going to St. Charles County anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Katie, I don't think that's a ridiculous thing to worry about. I mean, if businesses can't stay open and they start closing all over the place, I mean, you're talking about property values starting to drop just because the things that you liked about your community aren't going to be there anymore. I mean, I don't want to be a doomsdayer about this,
not at all. But we got to think about it.
There are snowball effects to all this stuff that we aren't really talking much about. And Mike, I know we teased this a little bit, but I do think there's going to be a bit of a comeback curve, even though the places that are staying open right now are experiencing, sounds like pretty good business.
Yeah.
I think what's happening is, like you said, everybody who wants to be out is going to the areas that are open, making them busy, which means that once everything's open, you're going to have a lot of people who used to go out a lot or might have gone to Cardinal games, or maybe they went to concerts. They're going to be nervous for
a little while.
Who knows how long?
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully not permanently, but there's been a psychological change that people hopefully can quickly get over, but I don't know how fast that'll be.
No, I think that's a good question. I don't know the answer either. And think about it this way. I mean, like, for instance, I live in Richmond Heights in St. Louis County. And there are some local businesses, but Richmond Heights has a lot of like the chain places. Now, walking distance from my house is Maplewood. That is so much based on local small businesses.
Local, yeah.
So, Richmond Heights, they're not going to worry about, they're not going to worry about a CVS or a Walmart or something like that going under because those places withstand these just fine. Places like Maplewood, I mean, how many? There's a shop for guys with a beard. There's a there's
cool comic book shops.
There's there's that. There's the bookstore right there on Manchester. There's the small locally owned restaurants there. all of those have a whole different impact. I mean, you got to talk about Strange Donuts if you're going to talk about Maplewood, right? I mean,
absolutely.
So all of these businesses there have a very different impact. And I had somebody on a different program say, why aren't these local governments fighting harder for these small businesses and fighting against people like Sam Page? Well, if you're one of these cities that focuses just on revenue generation, you don't really care that mom and pop's hamburger shop goes out of business because you can replace it with a CVS, which is far more guaranteed to constantly line your coffers with money. So you feign sadness when the burger place goes out, but you get something really permanent that's almost untouchable and makes your life a whole lot easier as a bureaucrat. And I think there's a lot more of that than what people want to talk about.
Are people in Maplewood particularly concerned? Because that community, it's not just that it has a lot of local businesses. It's that people move there because of that.
Oh yeah, I'd say with like Webster Groves, Kirkwood, that their whole entire community is based off of these mom and pop local feel shops.
Right.
And so I think that they're all worried, but they also don't want to be permanently shut down, and they don't want to go against the system.
Because it's going to be a little bit interesting because these are also deep blue, hard left areas. And now they're being crushed by hard left politicians. So it's going to be interesting to see where their loyalties are going to be on this, because what are you going to do? You're going to say, thank you, sir. May I have another?
I have yet to see any places in Maplewood open and go against the system.
No, they're not. They're not opening back up, because if they did, I'd be there. I don't care. I'd walk in and buy something just because they're actually doing that. And they're like, this is a women's clothing store. I buy something for my daughter, whatever.
I have a question about this. So the people that are defying Sam Page's orders, is there a possibility of them being permanently shut down because they are defying it?
Well, Sam Page is shown to be pretty vindictive. So I mean, he went after those restaurants, 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago. And he went and pulled operating permits, or had the county do that, so that it's like baseline, the base legal thing you've got. And he's not doing that over all the others that didn't put Facebook posts or didn't go on the radio, didn't put out, social media. So it's possible that he could try to, punish them permanently. And based on what I've seen from Sam Page, it looks like he's the type of person who would do that.
See, that's what another fear I think a lot of these local shops have, is that like, do I kind of ride the wave, close down, and still be able to do the carry out and everything like that, just so that I know I won't be permanently shut down or get those licenses taken away from me?
Yeah, they're
or do I
scared.
rebel?
Yeah, I've talked to enough small business people around where I live. They are scared of Sam Page. Okay. I haven't heard that they're concerned about coronavirus itself. Don't get me wrong. But they're scared of Sam Page, and he's really just more of King Page at this point than anything else. I mean, he clearly has very little regard for the small businesses that he's hurting. But what's even worse is that he seems to be angrier about anybody who is pushing back against him than he is about what actually should happen. I mean, I'm sorry, when Lyda Crewson in the city of St. Louis government makes more sense than St. Louis County, something's off kilter there.
It's amazing. We've talked about it on a macro level. We haven't talked about it on this level right here, this micro level, as much about how certain states who've stayed open are going to economically benefit long-term from this much more than states that have stayed closed. I mean, we talked about Disney World. All the Disney people are moving from California to Florida right now because their industry depends on it. But it's true about even these municipalities and counties too, that how much more is rural and, further west Missouri, or not west, but you know what I mean? Like the western part of St. Louis going to benefit from this long term when people start moving there versus wanting to live in the city or the county.
I mean, is Wentzville going to be the new place to be if you're trying to get out? I mean, Chesterfield's in St. Louis County, but if you go out farther, I mean, is O'Fallon going to be the next place? I mean, St. Charles County is pretty. I like St. Charles County a lot.
I love it.
I mean, but are we going to get out to Wright City, and that's going to be,
Troy,
the new place to go
on and popping in Troy,
the metropolis of Warrenton.
Yes, precisely. I mean, that's all the general St. Louis area, and if people know that, wait a minute, we've got, yes, a virus we have to worry about right now, and I'm not trying to downplay that. But at the same time, if we know that I'm living under a government that will shut me down because they know they can do it, regardless of what the effect is on people's actual livelihoods, I would think twice before, putting down roots there, and I hate to say that because I'm talking about where I actually live.
100%. And the people, this is a good time too to sell your house and move. So the people that are watching these lockdowns and watching these shutdowns happen, they're like, I'm getting out of this area. It's a perfect time. Let me go out to St. Charles County.
I can find Target anywhere.
Yeah.
But Ryan, I can't find that unique shop that I like so much everywhere as well. And those may not be around at all.
No, they probably won't exist. I'm saying all this from Illinois, by the way, where we've been dealing with these issues for much longer than you guys.
Yeah, you guys have never been out of lockdown.
Yeah,
right. So these questions have been crossing our minds for beyond COVID.
Okay, so we got a lot of calls coming in here, but just ahead, though, the Supreme Court made a huge ruling on religious freedom. We are going to take a look at that, and then everybody who's calling, guys, give me a call back here in just about 20 minutes, okay? Let's talk about this.
Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now. The Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother.
Stewart's American Mortgage, home of the Bagel Loan. It's called the Bagel Loan because it looks like a zero, and you pay zero in fees that other lenders are going to charge you for. It's really kind of that simple. Rates are low, obviously. You've been hearing that for some time. Who knows how long they're going to stay low? I certainly don't. But when they're super low and you can go get a refinance from anywhere, why would you not choose to go to Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage? And here's why you go to Stewie. Because when you go in to get that refinance done, you're not going to pay fees that other lenders are going to charge you for. And this is going to save you a boatload of cash. He doesn't stick the fees somewhere else. He doesn't hide them or tuck them away. So he rolls them into the loan. They don't exist. They're not there. I did the refi myself with the Bagel Loan. They're not there. I promise. 314-324-4440. That's the number to reach out to him. You can call him or you can text him there. Make sure you mention Annie when you do. 314-324-4440. Get a Bagel Loan started right now. You'll be glad you did. You can Google the Bagel Loan. Visit them online at stewartsamc.com. NMLS number 226715.
Get a pen because you'll want to write this number down. If your health insurance is making you sick, Tom Yakupin at New Era Health Plan has the cure. Open enrollment is here, but you don't have to enroll in a government plan. You have options. Call Tom at 855-296-4500. That's 855-296-4500. New Era Health Plans now has the new exciting Gold Health Plan. Unlimited teledoc at no charge. Low inpatient deductibles. Any doctor or hospital. Tom is an expert with over 30 years experience. He's helped small businesses, self-employed, small groups, and people paying too much for Obamacare or COBRA. Tom will help you understand your options. If you meet the flexible guidelines for coverage, New Era Health Plans will give you the best coverage for the best rates. Call 855-296-4500. That's 855-296-4500 or go to newerahealthplans.com. That's newerahealthplans.com. A quality plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Mark Cox here for my friends at Pretzel Stop. You've heard me talking about Pretzel Stop for a while now. They're right there on Jungerman Road, just off Highway 94 next to Kohl's and across from Walmart. And Tony and his team are doing a great job. They've got an enormous variety of brats and sausages stuffed into a pretzel bun. But Pretzel Stop's about a lot more than that. They've got gourmet sandwiches, the chicken salad pretzel sandwich. They've got gourmet burgers on a pretzel bun, barbecue on that warm pretzel bun, and even pretzel pizza. And they've got pretzel bites that are out of this world. Do yourself a favor and stop by there. They've got desserts like fruit smoothies and sinful sundaes, and they've got you covered. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, catering. They can even customize the shape of pretzels for parties. So for more information, check them out online. You can find them at pretzelstop.com or at 16
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
Progress, but no deal yet on Lisa Brady, Fox News. That bottom line as talk of more coronavirus relief continues. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
But Congress will not get a coronavirus relief deal completed this week. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi wants to have it settled by next week, but warns it may wait until after Christmas.
We can't go before the package is ready and the votes are there.
A stopgap funding bill was approved by the House, extending government funding through next week. The Senate could sign off on that later today. A final year-end spending package will likely include coronavirus funding, but sticking points remain over assistance for state and local governments and liability protections for businesses and schools. Lisa.
Jared, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy accuses Pelosi of playing politics.
Roughly 1 in 5 small businesses have closed. 110,000 American restaurants have already permanently shut their doors.
Republicans slamming Democrats for rejecting the Senate Majority Leader's offer to drop key sticking points on both sides and focus on obvious areas of agreement. Federal health officials say they've been working during the pandemic to reduce reliance on foreign supply chains.
With all of these capabilities, the Strategic National Stockpile is no longer a reactive body. It is an active, anticipating body that in many cases can work with our health system, our hospitals, and our states to let them know when they're going to need more things before they even know it.
Health and Human Services Deputy Chief of Staff Paul Mango. Meantime, an FDA advisory committee continues its day-long meeting on the Pfizer vaccine. Just in from New Hampshire, a medical examiner has ruled the State House Speaker Dick Hinge, who died suddenly yesterday, died from COVID-19. America is listening to Fox News.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Carolers! That's the holiday spirit. Speaking of which, Simply Safe Home Security is having a huge holiday sale. Right now, you can get 40% off a new system and a free camera at simplysafe.com/holiday. That's 40% off the system U.S. News named the best of 2020. Simply Safe protects your whole home 24/7 with monitoring by professionals. The sale ends soon, so go to simplysafe.com/holiday for 40% off and a free camera today.
I hired nuptial num-nums to cater my wedding, and it was a disaster. Everyone was raving about the food instead of my dress.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
They're like, oh, Veronica, the lamb chops. Did the lamb chops fly you out to Cancun?
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
I will not be hiring them for my next wedding.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Sunshine in control, nice temperatures, above average by 20 degrees, 65 doing it for the high today. Tonight, partly cloudy, 40. Friday, clouds, rain for the afternoon, a steady rain, 58. That steady rain continues for Friday night. Over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, clouds control. It's colder, Saturday, 49, Sunday, 40. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Before he became a legend fixing ACs and furnaces and building a company trusted around here for nearly half a century, Jerry Kelly was an amateur baseball legend. When you need help with your home's comfort systems, call the legend.
JerryKelly.com. National Rarities is one of these really cool places that I get to talk about that gets to help you get some cash, some money for those things that are valuable sitting around your house, but they don't really have any meaning specifically to you. Now you have a place to take them, and it's right here in St. Louis. It's called National Rarities, and I want to introduce you to them so that you can get that value for your product. National Rarities is located in West County at the corner of Manchester and Mason. You can call National Rarities to make an appointment right now, 888-787-1112. That's 888-787-1112, or you can visit them online at nationalrarities.com. They are GIA certified buyers, so you're working with a trustworthy company full of experts. National Rarities buys gold, platinum, sterling silver, diamonds, jewelry, watches, coins, currency, firearms, artwork, paintings, autographs, antiques, antique toys, and even more. So if you are looking right now to get some value for your product, remember, gold is near an all-time high right now. National Rarities is the place to go. One more time on that phone number, 888-787-1112, 888-787-1112, online at nationalrarities.com.
What's holding you back from solving your tax problems? If it's cost, know that the longer you wait, the more expensive it'll be. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Tax resolution doesn't have to be expensive, and waiting year after year to resolve your tax problems can be extremely costly. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. So take the first step now and hire a tax resolution attorney to help you. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee which includes costs and expenses that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. But the longer you wait, the more interest and penalties you'll pay. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Home warranties are a good idea. I think that's pretty obvious. They give you peace of mind and they can save you some money in the long run. That said, difficult to find the right home warranty company. Well, I got one for you that I think you're going to love. This is Tim Convey, and I want to tell you about Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. UpkeepSTL.com is the website. The STL is important because they're based right here in St. Louis, which means they're much easier to hold accountable than some of these huge warranty companies that you can never track anybody down. And they're sending different contractors from all sorts of different places into your home to do any work or to check things out. Not Upkeep. Upkeep sends their own employees based right here in St. Louis into your home. They send them in to process any claims you make, but they also send them in 4 times a year to do maintenance. So they're never denying a claim like so many of these companies do due to maintenance because they're the ones performing the maintenance. This place couldn't be better. I couldn't be more impressed with them. Spend some time on the website and mention you heard about them from Tim Convey and they'll give you $100 off. UpkeepSTL.com.
97.1 FM Talk is on the radio and online on your smart speaker, on your phone, and streaming anytime at 971talk.com. Find it all at radio.com. 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, Sid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Here's a complicated question. How many rights do we keep in a pandemic? And I say complicated, even though to people on each side of that debate, the answer is simple, at least to them. I'm Mike Ferguson. To one side of the debate, we must sacrifice some or maybe even all of our rights for the overall public good. And that's why it's okay for government to micromanage parts or, I don't know, maybe all of our society. And it's for the public health. That's what we're hearing right now. And to the other side, well, we've got to keep government in check, even in a pandemic. Some would say, especially in a pandemic, because rights don't just exist in good times and safer times. That's why I say it's a complicated question. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court, in a ruling that happened just before Thanksgiving, made a big decision affecting this. And I'm joined now by Kurt Mills from the American Conservative Magazine. He's got an article published called At the Supreme Court, A Red Line for Religious Freedom. Kurt, first of all, thanks for the time this weekend. And secondly, we're going to get into this a little bit more, but really their ruling starts with religious freedom, 5-4 decision. Does the impact just affect New York State, or could this be something that sends a message to governments across the country?
I think it's, well, thanks first for having me. I think it's something closer to the latter. Of course, you know, the Supreme Court stuff gets pretty complicated and in the weeds, but generally when the court takes a case and when the court rules in a certain way, they are sending a message and they are trying to set something approaching, if not outright binding precedent. I think if you take a look at the case that was considered and ruled on in the last couple of days this question of whether or not this Catholic Diocese of Brooklyn and some of these Jewish groups could congregate in small groups. This was, they sued the governor of New York, Cuomo, who of course has become famous since the pandemic, and they won. They won 5-4, saying that that they do have some limited rights to get together. And if you look at the concurring statement from Justice Gorsuch, who of course President Trump appointed and got on the Supreme Court in 2017, what Gorsuch basically says is the term essential services has gotten way out of whack, where the governors are clearly sort of tipping the scales towards services that they might like. So, for instance, a common complaint is liquor stores, even movie theaters, even cannabis dispensaries in the places where that's legal are open, and yet a lot of churches are still shuttered. And I think that's that's clearly a First Amendment violation, or at least Gorsuch and his colleagues thought so.
And of course, the case that you just mentioned, just in case people are saying, now, wait a minute, which case is this? This has to do with the governor saying, if you're in this area, you're in a red zone or an orange zone, and you can't have anybody in church, or you can't meet here, but you can have 10 people here, or something along those lines. And that's what we're seeing across the country. Is the argument is that we are in a pandemic. There are millions of people who are infected with COVID-19, and we have to do something to protect the public health. Why should a church, in this case, still have the right to meet, even though people are scared of COVID-19? That's one of the arguments that we hear a lot, Kurt.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we still live in a free society, and everyone was welcome to make their own determination. Obviously, no one's forcing anyone to go to church. It's the way it was before the pandemic, and the way it, mercifully, will be afterwards. And then the same thing is if people think the risk assessment is way too high for them, no one. I haven't seen a religious group that's basically saying that it's a sin not to appear in person, that they can appear digitally. But for those who want to take a calculated, measured, responsible risk and go in, I think what you saw the majority of the court say that's appropriate. That's fine. Now, of course, the other side of the docket, the sort of more I hesitate to use ideological terms, but generally considered liberal side of the court, they agreed with what you were just saying, which is that the concern about health is preeminent, it's cascading, and it's everything. And they would say, like, well, the church, you could do that online, versus obviously you can't pick up liquor or a joint online immediately. So it's a different type of thing. From my own perspective, I think that this was not an irresponsible ruling.
And we're visiting with Kurt Mills from the American Conservative. And one of the interesting things about your article, and once again, it's called At the Supreme Court, a Red Line for Religious Freedom, is you don't stick just to the religious aspect of this. This is not the first time that there have been restrictions on constitutional rights in our country. You mentioned President Lincoln suspending the right of habeas corpus, and you mentioned Franklin Delano Roosevelt interning Japanese Americans, one of the most horrible episodes in our history. And so for those who say this is unprecedented for government to step in and take away a right, it's really not. So when we talk about religious freedom and First Amendment rights in this case, is there a bigger picture we should be having in the conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I think since March, since we determined that we were going to lock down or have these restrictions, all of these things are, I hesitate to say unprecedented. I mean, obviously the pandemic in the late 1910s was more deadly, or at least so far, than this one was. But the sort of, blanket, serious lockdowns of businesses, not to mention mask mandates, not to mention travel restrictions, or to mention that, I guess, all of these things come up against serious constitutional questions. I think the government can easily make its case that a lot of this stuff is constitutional, but when they're really, really bending it, where they're picking winners and losers, when they're picking what kind of activity, say an outdoor protest, but not an outdoor gathering or an indoor gathering in a church, it doesn't pass the smell test for a lot of people. And I think that's why these cases are continuing to come up to the court.
Is the Supreme Court saying that that our rights can never be limited by government in the case of emergency, or are they absolutely saying no? There are some of these that are untouchable even in an emergency.
No, I think what most people would say is that most of the justices would say is that the all rights have limits up to a point, right? I mean, like, it's the famous you can't yell fire in a crowded theater, that kind of thing. But I think and again, like, you're not going to see these these massive Christmas services that you would see at maybe at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. All of that stuff is still a sideline for now. But what they are saying is, if you're allowing certain limited activity in one arena, to discriminate against certain limited activity in another arena is wholly out of bounds.
Yeah, because the Supreme Court is addressing whether or not it's a good idea to go into church. Just saying government can't tell you that you can. I think that's a part of the nuance that a lot of people aren't including in the conversation right now.
Right, and I think you're getting into a disturbing sort of thing where whether it's sort of tech or whether it's the pandemic where everyone's just sort of on edge and fearful right now. But there's plenty of behavior which I think should be legal, which I don't personally support. And generally that was a sort of a broadly conceded notion in the United States, particularly. And you've seen that a little bit fraying. You've seen blue states, particularly in my opinion, favor certain activity and make it harder for other activities that aren't nearly as possible. And I think that gets into minority rights. Obviously Christians, I think, are still the putative majority in this country, but the country is becoming less religious, and the number of people who attend church services once a week or more is the minority. And I think there are concerns about protecting in a responsible way that acknowledges public health the rights of those individuals.
All right, Kurt, we can find this article at the American Conservative, and people can obviously just Google search American Conservative on the web. And if they want to follow what you're doing, social media, anything like that, they should find you
at Kurt Mills on Twitter. And then obviously, check out the website. Be appreciated.
All right, Kurt, appreciate the time. Nice job with the article.
Thank you.
And like we were just talking, this is a ruling that could have an effect all over the country, could have an effect. I mean, obviously right here as well, because you've got churches everywhere that if they're not totally shut down, they're only allowed to have a small percentage of people, that kind of thing. So I think the Supreme Court got this one 100% right about that, because, when times are really, really tough, that's when you have to say, okay, which rights do we actually respect? Which do we actually have or not? Because if you have to ask the permission to do it, it's not a right. It's a privilege, or it's just done by permission. And that's I think where I'd love to see that really tough conversation. A lot of churches are saying, yeah, we're just gonna hold off and do it on Facebook Live or whatever the case is, just because we're concerned about our people, which is great. I have no issue with that. But my thing is, if a church believes that their faith tells them that they should be meeting corporately, in person, that's what they believe that they should be doing, and the only reason they're not is because the government's telling them not to, I hope they push back.
Well, and I mean, we had a summer full of protests.
Yeah.
And now we have a fall and a winter full of protests.
Right.
So if all of those things are allowed, why are they allowed? And others are not.
And why are we not allowed to ask the question that says, no, we should still have some rights, even when times are really scary right now? Because there is a bit, the COVID-19 is, or whatever COVID's going to be, there'll probably be a COVID 20 and a 21. At some point we're going to deal with it, whether we just get it under control and it's like a flu or whatever the case is. But the bigger picture is that when government says we're going to, for instance, we were talking about a little bit earlier, shut down your business, decide who gets to keep working and who doesn't get to keep working. When you have people like Governor Pritzker and Sam Page and Gavin Newsom and Andrew Cuomo.
Gosh, what a piece of work.
Right. When you have all these people who are saying, we're going to decide who gets to keep your rights, and don't you dare question us. Don't you know that we're trying to keep you safe? we have a right and a duty to question that. And I think that's what Kurt was writing about. Was what he was writing about in that article. And again, you can find it at the American Conservative. Just look up Kurt Mills. All right, our good friend Tyrus from Fox Nation joining us just ahead. And then, man, we had a lot of people a little bit ago really wanted to talk about this thing where, hey, everybody's going to St. Charles County to get their shopping done. They're not, I mean, St. Louis County, you're just losing out. Businesses there, you guys need to be pushing back. That's my opinion, at least. But we'll get to that probably right after, maybe right around 1:44 or something like that. I'm Mike Ferguson, in for Annie Frey.
I say leave it alone.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Guys, looking for a great Christmas gift for your special someone? Then spoil her this year with a pajamagram. Plus, order today and you'll get free gift packaging. And delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. Just go to pajamagram.com. That's pajamagram.com.
IT is complicated. It's not as simple as asking, the youngest person in your office to try to fix this thing that keeps crashing on you. You can do that to an extent, but why is it crashing in the first place? And also, how bad could it get? Could it expand in its problem for your business? And, did you reboot the computer? Well, these are basic things that you can try, of course. But if you're having system crashes, if you're having applications freeze up on you all the time, chances are it's hindering your ability to do business. You need forensic IT. They're on both sides of the river, 314-677-3950, 314-677-3950. And they work with the very biggest enterprises to the smallest mom and pop small businesses. If you're in the market for somebody who's going to help you get to the root of your problems and keep your uptime up, you need forensic IT. They help you with system crashes, viruses, frozen applications to make sure they're not going to bother you any longer. If you want to learn more, give them a call. Mention Annie when you do, 314-677-3950. You can visit them online at forensicit.com.
Ugly, boring, embarrassing. If this describes any of your bathrooms, you're in luck. Right now, Mosby Building Arts is offering 10% off semi-custom bathrooms or no payments, no interest for 12 months. With Mosby, you'll soon be enjoying an updated bathroom that could only be described as perfect. Call Mosby at 314-909-1800 or visit callmosby.com before December 15th to take advantage of these savings. Mosby Building Arts. Home never felt so good.
Hi, Thomas Helbig here with the Retirement Advisory Group. Merry Christmas from all of us and from me and my family. I grew up right here in St. Louis, part of a large family. And in my book, that's what makes the holiday special. The things you hold in your heart, not in your hand. The people, family, the personal relationships that grow closer and stronger with the passing of time. In the past 34 years, we have become part of some lasting relationships. We made a lot of friends in and around St. Louis, and that just can't be taken away. So as we turn the page and put yet another year in the books, I know we've all endured some difficult times this past year. And for those of you who may have lost loved ones, our hearts go out to you. Here's hoping next year will be a lot better and we can get back to the lives we are all used to. Going to dinner with family and friends, going to ball games, and just living our best lives possible. Once again, from all of us at Retirement Advisory Group, we'd like to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas. And for me and my family, I'm Thomas Helbig.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. The holidays are here, and it truly is a magical time of the year. And the unfortunate truth is so much of that ends up on the credit cards. Well, I have the perfect solution to ensure that your holidays are magical and that you start the new year off right. Mortgage interest rates are in the twos, and home values are skyrocketing. There's never been a better time for a cash-out refinance. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
My dad used to say, there's a difference between living in a place and being part of the community. When you're part of the community, you take responsibility for your neighbors. Look, I don't like wearing a mask, but I love my community, and I do anything to protect my neighbors from COVID-19. Fortunately, all I have to do is mask up. Love your community. Mask up and keep your distance. Brought to you by the Coalition for Healthy Missouri Communities.
The med spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the med spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
The latest local forecast and severe weather coverage you can count on from the name in St. Louis weather.
This is 97.1's Chief Meteorologist, Dave Murray.
On 97.1 FM Talk, powered by Air Comfort Service.
You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love.
If you want to go into politics and you're an ambitious person and you have a desire maybe to get into, I don't know, maybe Congress or something, you should be real careful who you hang around, especially who you allegedly decide to have hookups with, because it turns out, as Eric Swalwell is finding out right now, that could really bite you in the butt in a pretty big way. So what's that mean for our national intelligence and just overall hypocrisy of what we see with some folks on the left? Is it a big deal? Is it not big deal? Well, we got our friend Tyrus here to give us some insight on that.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship. Enough said.
All right, Tyrus, good to talk to you again, man.
How are you doing, man? Holding up?
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
All right, just getting by. Yeah, we're just trying to survive out here when the government shuts everything down on us,
Yeah.
so
same thing, man.
So I'm watching Fox earlier, and there you are talking about this entire Eric Swalwell just mess. Nancy Pelosi says no big deal. I mean, yeah, he had some kind of contact with somebody who turned out to be a spy, but he's fine on the Intelligence Committee. And of course, this is after he's saying that I'm getting punished because I worked to impeach Donald Trump. Is there any sense to be made of this whole thing, man?
Well, unfortunately, there is. It's just, do we want the headaches to go dig it up? Here's the thing: if I'm sure he's one of many. I'm sure if we looked at everybody's call logs and emails over the years of their career, that we would find some pretty interesting individuals rubbing elbows with our senators and congressmen and House representatives and all that good stuff. But when it does come to light and you are compromised, the adult thing to do is to recognize that and to step down from anything that would look inappropriate. Doesn't mean at some point he can't clear this matter up and return. I'm just saying, if this stuff was brought to my attention, that somebody that I had a pretty substantial relationship with over 5 years, at least 8 years or something like that, turned out to be a spy, I would be concerned about it and everything. Did they have bugs in my office? Did they have, what I'm saying? And I know he worked, reading the story, he worked with the FBI, etc. But just for transparency and just to be, I don't care if he's a Democrat or Republican, honestly, I really don't care. Just in terms of our national security, I would step down. Just for no other reason than it's the right thing to do, and let if they need to reopen the investigation, if more news has come to light, if more information is fall out, please go through all the proper channels, and I can always come back. But again, that's me. I'm an adult.
I think it was Richard Grinnell that appeared on Fox and said that this was just the tip of the iceberg. That concerns me. Are we talking about, lots more congressmen maybe here? I mean, what is the implication of tip of the iceberg with Eric Swalwell?
Well, again, whenever the other side critiques the other side, I always raise my eyebrow to it. I'm gonna stick to a facts guy. I think it's in terms of he's not the only one, and it's not just Democrats. I think that we're going to see, especially during this time, we've gotten a real good look at what our Senate's like, what our House is like, and how willing they put party before people. And, you know, I'm not going to help the president get a win, so I have no problem with families getting their lights cut off or being evicted during a pandemic or have to stand in a line at a food bank for 12 hours because I got to get my principles across. We've seen a lot of the character and Swalwell's no different. Unfortunately, I would like to say this, he was a unicorn, but I think as we find out, there'll be a lot more people that'll be going, what? I mean, literally, Feinstein's driver, I believe, was a spy for 10 years or something like that. I mean, anyone with a checkbook gets to come in the office and have a seat with a senator. And that's what we're seeing. And with Congressman, the same thing, he wants to get it, and no one ever raises an eyebrow. Literally, somebody overpays me $1 at work. I'm like, what's this mean? What do you want? You know, like, what do I owe you? You know what I'm saying? And this person's doing all this work for you. And then the other thing is, like, now you're hearing that, you know, the China sent these spies to hook up, have sex with them, which means you are now, and I believe I didn't Google him, but isn't he married? Doesn't he have a family?
I'm Googling right now.
Because this would forget his job. I mean, he's got explaining to do when he gets at home as well. Like, I mean,
right.
Here's the thing: she didn't find anything. No, because they didn't want it now when you were a fledgling. You'll be married and pictures with your kids at church, and you're getting ready to do something. And then you're going to get an email going, "Hi, remember me from 8 years ago?"
Right.
Here's the deal. There's a video of us together, and if you don't want that making the news, I think you should go this way with the trade deal, or I think you should lobby for this taxation, or hey, you know what? Ease up on the tough China talk. You know what I'm saying? That's what the issue is. It doesn't matter it happened 8 years ago. That's how they do it. And then they show up one day and say, "Surprise! What do you got for us?"
Now, I'm not the only one who's Googling Eric Swalwell's wife. I got ERIC space SW, and Eric Swalwell wife is the second thing that popped up.
Yeah.
So we're not the only ones. So he is married, but he didn't get married till 2016. So it looks like he was not married at that time. But I mean, Tyrus, you're implying that there might be more sex scandals in Congress. Come on, man, that never happened.
I know.
Right?
I mean, they literally had a tax-funded department to take care of this. Think about that. I mean, we're going to start seeing a lot of things, but just to focus on Swalwell in particular, I just feel like his answer to me was so typical of the irresponsibility we're seeing from leadership. Because if President Trump would have said, well, it's only because they don't like me, and he's made references to the news like that, and they immediately fire back with it's about the fact and it's about the search for truth. So I guess those rules don't apply to you. And on Outnumbered, I said hypocrisy was the word of the day. It might be the word of the week, because we keep seeing when the one side does something, the other side becomes holier than thou. And Eric Swalwell, if we just focus on what he did, how the arrogance that he would have to think that he controlled his unknowingly being compromised, you have forgotten more than you remember what you said to this individual. So by all means, you being on the committee, you've compromised yourself and the committee, and you should step down. And that's not, again, clear it up, find out what happened. How long was she doing it for? He did cooperate with the FBI in the past, but the story's resurfaced again. So, you know, I just find it hilarious how quick one side is to judge the other side. And he was on the front line, and Pete, he was dishonest. He wasn't forthright. It's about truth. Well, this is the same situation. And when they asked him about the truth of it, his answer was, President Trump's mad at me.
President Trump's mad at everybody. President Trump's mad at everybody.
Literally, he is mad at everyone. And maybe rightfully so.
Yeah. We're talking with Tyrus, host of Fox Nation's Nuff Said and Fox News contributor. Let me ask you a question about YouTube. As we're broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook, all of this tech stuff is getting almost unbelievable at this point. But there's a libertarian streak or a group of people saying, you know what? They're private companies. You don't have to use those companies. Where do you stand on this whole thing?
You know what? That's a very good point. You don't have to use, and that's the one thing I drives me crazy when you see groups of people try to stop something, when they try to stop a movie they don't like, or a position, or someone speaking at a school. Here's the thing. You don't have to watch, you don't have to attend, you don't have to subscribe. You can just not do it. You don't need to, they need to be shut down, they need to be this and that. No, you just don't have to participate.
Well, let me follow up and ask you, what about people because I agree in principle, but there are people right now who've built entire livings off of doing political commentary, for instance, on YouTube, and now all of a sudden they're having their livelihoods taken away because of new rules. I mean, that seems unfair.
Well, but that's the risk of when you do your stuff on somebody else's.
Yeah.
You know, that's the risk. That's unfortunately, and listen, that's not exclusive. I mean, literally, we were making a living doing a radio show, and you could be interrupted, like, you know what? We just don't like the numbers. We're going to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
This is how we're going to do it now. And then
it's going to happen today because Andy's gone.
The difference is I work on YouTube. Here's the mistake. I'm on YouTube. I'm my own boss. Hello, you're not. They let you think you are. And then one day they say, I don't like your content. So we're taking you off because it's ours, as in ours, not yours. So unfortunately for the people who have lost, that's why you don't put all your stuff on somebody. Like, literally, if I build this amazing house that I'm renting and I add it on and I do all these great things and I plant a garden and put a pool in, and then the owner that says, you know what, I'm going to sell my house tomorrow. Sorry, guy, you got to move out. But sir, I did all these things. Thank you. But it's my house.
Yeah. Well, and that's
so we have to remember that.
And this is one of the areas where I get crossways with Republicans in Congress, more so than probably a lot of other people in conservative talk radio, is that they're basically saying, all right, Facebook in particular, YouTube in particular, we don't like you. Well, I don't really like Facebook myself either, because they become, yeah, good for you, man. But here's the thing is it is their platform. There are other options out there. And so when we've got a lot of conservatives saying we're going to crack down on big tech, well, wait a minute. If they truly were a monopoly, okay, let's have the discussion, but they're not. There's probably 10 platforms out there that you can use to connect with people.
Yeah, and then some of us, we have to just start thinking in more practical terms. Yes, the big platforms can get it there for you faster.
Yeah.
But there was a time when people did things, they worked out, they got through the rights. You know, Rush Limbaugh, when you look at the Bill Maher, when you look at the pioneers of political talk, right, you know, even Greg Gutfeld, you know, guys who have started from opinions or stand-up, whatever, there was a process, there was the journey. Using a big platform can speed up the process, but you can still get there without the platform. If your talent and your work and what you have to say resonates, it will travel. For every person, for every mom and pop shop who has built a career with a small business with an idea and didn't necessarily use Twitter or Instagram as your bloodline, it might be a little slower, but you could still get there. And so I really don't, that'd be like me basing my career off my success on social media. It's not much to it. Could it help more if I spent 24 hours a day on social media? Probably. I get some more likes or views, or maybe another TV show or that within, but at what cost? So you'll feel, like I said, it's not works for everyone. Entertainment isn't like, we need to start also being realistic too. Being on TV and having your voice heard is not a necessity. There are other jobs out there. As much as I love the life that I've had, where I've got a chance to wrestle and play football and do TV shows and movies and be on a Fox News contributor and all that stuff, there has been months and years where I could get no work. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is, being in the entertainment business and the opinion business or whatever it is not a necessity. It is, it's a great job. It's a dream job. It takes a lot of work. And there's literally 2 million people who think they got the same idea you have, but only one of you is getting that spot. So, and when it doesn't work out, it's not everybody else's fault. It's just you didn't have enough. You didn't have it. It happens. Like, that's we need to start. I think we have a lot of narcissism in this country right now, self-imposed narcissism, to think that everyone's voice needs to be heard and everyone should be paying homage to what they have to say. And that's not the way it works.
Tyrus, before we run out of time with you real quick, I wanted to ask you, because I hear what you're saying. I actually appreciate the discussion. It's a good one to have. My concern is not that the government should get involved. I think there's a sense in which we're all concerned that there are huge groups of people who are saying there shall be no dissent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But there has to be dissent. This place doesn't work without it. You have to have a difference of opinion. It's just now, for whatever reason, the idea of free thought has been clouded with, if you don't agree with me, I hate you. And we have to get back to that. The problem is that this is where you have to control social media. This is where if one group's voice is not heard, if everyone has let's just say that Twitter continues, let's take Twitter, for example. They continue to censor conservatives. They continue to censor anyone who's not with their liberal agenda. If all those conservatives that were being treated that way got off Twitter, if they deleted the app, if they got rid of those things, and they moved on to something else, they would feel that eventually. I'm not represented here. So you know what? I'm not going to participate on this particular one, but I can start my own, or we can do this, or we can do that. There's a million things we can do to get your voice out there. That's the one. There is not just one lane. And I think that social media likes to kind of put that in your head, that if you don't have a verified blue check and 1 million followers on social media, your voice doesn't matter. And that's not true at all. I mean, it's the farthest thing from it. And remember, once people start leaving, I mean, look, MySpace thought they had it all on lock. Where are they at? There's 1 million companies that had great ideas and intentions. I remember in the WWE, it's like, hey guys, tout. Everyone invest in tout. 15-second video. It's going to change the way you do the news and you do everything else, and then someone said, can't you do that on Instagram already and Twitter? Yeah, but this is it. Tout's it,
The next big thing, man. All right, it's Planet Tyrus on Twitter. Tyrus, good to talk to you again. Appreciate that, and we will catch up with you again pretty soon, man.
Yeah, I might not be on Twitter after this one, but you know what? I'm good with it.
Yeah,
Tyrus has dropped Twitter, and you can't follow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's what, I have to do some social media for my job, but if I didn't, I wouldn't. I've gotten to the point where I just can't stand it, but I do it.
I know. You know what? Real quick, I know we got to go, but every time I hear that, I laugh because I'll hear people, I got to do that for my job. I got to do social media for my job. What do you do? I'm in construction. What does the selfie of your breakfast have to do with construction?
I know. I've actually got a contract that says I have to do it with.
I get it. I have to do stuff on social media too.
Yeah.
Fox would be like, hey, you got to do this, you got to do this. But whenever I hear people, it's for my job, I'm always, I know what your job is because we're on the show together. But I'm always like, so what do you do? But whenever someone says that to you, just hit them with it real quick. So what do you do? Oh, I'm a student.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad you asked. I'm an Instagram model. So, it kind of is my job.
We all are.
That's not a real job.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because there's a huge market for 48-year-old guys who are 15, 20 pounds overweight.
Oh, I know. Hey, I didn't know I was an influencer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But hey, why not?
All right. Tyrus, have a good one, man.
All right, man.
All right. 314-241-9797, 866-455-9797. That's so true, though. I have to do it for my job. And then you find out later, like, wait a minute. What?
You didn't have to post that picture of yourself for your job, though. No, that was the midnight run.
All right. Tyrus had his say. It's your turn just ahead. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. You're not the only one working more from inside your home. So is your HVAC system. If your system needs service, Air Comfort Service will promptly and safely be there for you. Visit aircomfortservice.com. All right, here's the deal going on right now at Cassens. You can go online, cassenscan.com, and check out the employee pricing sales taking place right there. So many people are looking for good vehicles right now, new vehicles, used vehicles. Cassens has them all, and you have the best customer sales staff when you go to Cassens. They're going to work hard to get inside your budget and get you the greatest deal on the car that you've been looking for. Kimmy said Cliff was very professional. He didn't play games back and forth about pricing. Gave us a paper and said that this was what they could do, and it was a great price. I was happy with the trade-in for my old Jeep and the price on my new Jeep, and he made sure we were 100% happy with our purchase. So much so, we came back the next week to buy a truck for him. If you're looking for somebody you can trust, somebody who you're going to want to tell other people about with this experience, it's going to be different than a lot of these other places where we know that you're going online and you're shopping for cars online. You're just looking for the best deal. Have you ever done that? Showed up to the vehicle or to the place, and that car is not really that deal. It's not really what they advertise for. Go to Cassens. Work with people. Work with people you can trust. I trust them. I've purchased multiple vehicles from them, and I hope you will too. Find them online at cassenscan.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at throttlenet.com. So it's crazy time at ThrottleNet. They are IT geniuses, but they are a little bit nutty. Right now, they will pay you $250 for a conversation about your IT support because they value your time during the crazy pandemic. They'll give you the first 30 days for free, no charge for all of their services. And then they'll pay you another $1,000 if you decide to leave in the first 30 days for your trouble. They don't anticipate that you're going to leave, but if you do, they'll shake your hand, they'll put you back where you were, and they'll write you a check for $1,000. It is completely no risk, and they reward you for your time and for your effort. They are the best IT shop in the city, named number 1 5 years straight. They are good guys. Like I said, they are geniuses at protecting you, but they can communicate. They don't stare at their shoes. They look you in the eye, and they tell you what you need to know. ThrottleNet.com/971. Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Stamps.com. This holiday season, more people will be mailing stuff than ever before. This means the post office is going to be busy. You don't have time for that. Stamps.com brings the post office and now UPS shipping right to your computer. Mail and ship anything from the convenience at your home, your office, the beach, your cabin, wherever you happen to be with a computer. Plus, Stamps.com saves you money with deep discounts on everything that you do. You get 5% off every first-class stamp and up to 40% off priority mail and up to 62% off of UPS shipping rates, not to mention that it's a fraction of the cost of those expensive postage meters, and you don't have to leave your home. A complete no-brainer. Don't spend a minute of your holiday season at the post office this year. Sign up for Stamps.com instead. It's no risk. With my promo code Glover, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale with no long-term commitment. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in Glover. That's Stamps.com, enter Glover.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
The Tim Jones Show.
Chris Markowski. You only have one life, and you have to go out and you have to live it. If you're someone that is at risk and needs to be taking precautions, God bless you, go do it.
Tim Jones, Sunday nights at 7 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Those fingers in my hair, that sly come hither stare, that strips my conscience bare, it's witchcraft.
I'm just thinking that we need to, like, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, sway a little bit.
I needed to hear this.
There you go. Going old school.
Yes.
Katie, going old
Yeah,
school.
absolutely.
Can't get much older school than that. Unless you play like 30s era depression music or something.
And you know what? That's next on the list.
Hey, all right.
Let's do it. Absolutely.
Toothless Bob.
You
You
pull
read
out
my
like
mind.
Old Brother, Where Art Thou, or something like that from
that's
the
true.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's very true.
All right, it's 1:49. I'm Mike Ferguson. If you just joined us, we just talked to our good friend Tyrus from Fox Nation. And if you have something to say about that, give me a call 314-241-9797. Where we kind of left off is, Ryan, we're talking about YouTube now has basically said, if you're skeptical of the election results of Joe Biden becoming the next president, that we're just going to start blocking the stuff.
Yeah.
And is it censorship? Yes. But to Tyrus's point, and he's got a good one, it's their platform. Most people aren't paying anything to use it. And if you are, maybe you've got an argument, but I know my YouTube account's free.
I mean, we get bogged down in what to do about it because we have to respond to it, because most of us are using one of these platforms or another in some ways. And like some people really do, they make their full living on one of these platforms. The question I asked him at the end, which I think is the important part, is why are we okay with people who control information just saying we don't allow people to say things we don't like?
Yeah, we don't like it, so take it down.
I don't like it, and we don't approve of it, so it cannot exist. That's not free and open discussion. That's not free market. Now, it's within a platform that doesn't mean that the government has to get involved.
Right.
But I just don't like the fact that we're there, because that used to be an American value that we wouldn't do that.
No, I agree. But we're not in, I don't think you're going to argue that social media companies embrace those free market, freedom of expression values. I mean, even like I've got an account on Parler now, or somebody corrected me. They said it's actually Parlay. But everybody says Parler, so it's Parler. So I'm over there, and that's fine. But I mean, liberals can set up an account there, but they're not going to be particularly welcome there, the way that conservatives tend to not be welcome on the other platforms.
I don't think it's this is nothing against Parler, but I don't think that it's good to start setting up individual platforms solely based on ideologies, because then we're not listening to one another anymore.
Well, I don't think that people want to do that.
Yeah.
That's where we are, and people have to do that because otherwise they're just completely silenced. And Mike, I'll push back on you a little bit. Sure. I don't think that liberals would be not welcome on Parlay. I think that they would be. I think the whole point of it is that they're saying, you can put anything you want here. We don't care. We're not going to censor it.
You're not going to get censored. Yeah, that's for sure.
But the conservatives are the people that are going there, not the liberals.
And so they wouldn't like seeing
it.
Yes.
They would. Yeah, but they're not.
So what?
Yeah, exactly.
The Parlay is not going to do to liberals what Twitter and YouTube in this case does to conservatives. All right, let's see what Gary has to say about it. Gary, thanks for hanging on. You're on the air.
Yeah, you all are kind of covering it. My problem with Tyrus's view is that I understand they're completely a free market entity, but they have exercised such predatory power over anybody that gets any kind of a platform that competes against them. They either get bought out for a lot more money than they're worth, or they get squashed just through the weight of YouTube and Google and whatnot's percentage of the market share. So in a fair marketplace, you can go someplace else, and I've joined you all on Parler, Parlay, whatever. But there's some problems here that the government needs to look into because of market manipulation and too large a share that they control everything. I mean,
Gary, that's where I get nervous, is the government needs to look into it because they're too big. I mean, at what point does the government say, okay, you've been too successful, now we got to chop you down to size? Or, should you be allowed to just keep beating people if you're more successful?
Well, there's an issue there. It's, they're more of a public utility than they like to let on. I mean, we had these same things go on with the telephone company back in the 60s and 70s and the electric companies. I mean, when I moved up here where I'm at, I was on a little bitty electric company that basically came from, central Missouri down, from north of Ellsbury down through till they hit St. Charles County and ran over a little ways. I mean, they were a little bitty outfit. and they provided very good service. And then we got bought up. They got bought up by Ameren, and now we have 2 or 3 power outages a winter because they don't keep the trees out of the way from the lines. But but we're all supposed to be happy that we're serviced by a bigger company. But now I've got a generator out in the garage, so there's a point where these bigger companies have to be reined in, especially when they have 90% control over what you see or hear. I wouldn't have a problem with the size of them if they allowed free discussion and were just a clearinghouse for our meeting place. If they were just a big pub, and everybody was free to talk what they wanted to talk, and throw bread at each other if they didn't like things, and then you can go home and and talk to other people about it. But when they start putting their fingers on the scales and shutting off the switch, where you can't discuss something that is a national topic, they're in one camp or another camp. They're either a utility type person that is subject to leaving everything free, or they're actually a publisher and they need to be subject to the rules.
All right, Gary, I got to make way for the news here. Ryan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, Gary has some points. There are lawsuits going through right now. You may have been referencing that, the antitrust suit against Facebook that I think 46 states have filed, and the fact that they are still listed as a nonpartisan entity rather than as a publisher. All of those things could change. I just resist. That's exactly what liberals do. They look at a problem and they say, well, how can we fix this through the government?
Yeah,
that's usually not what we say.
See, I think both things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
That social media absolutely is biased, may very well have influenced the election to some degree by slowing down some news, stopping some news, allowing others to go through. So, I can think that Facebook is biased and a detriment, but I get really nervous when I hear the federal government say, yeah, we're going to step in and we're going to run the internet, or we're going to run social media. That's what concerns me. Because if you think that our side's going to do a better job and really rein them in, well, wait till the other side gets more power, and they've got now the reins to all social media and the internet. That's what worries me.
Yeah.
All right. You still have time to get your thoughts on this. And then I want to come back to that discussion we were having a little bit earlier on where are you doing your shopping now? St. Charles County? That's probably the answer.
It's witchcraft, wicked witchcraft. And although I know it's strictly taboo,
Diamonds Directs just decided to squeeze in one more incredible event before Christmas. A flash sale on all earrings this weekend. Yes! Save an unprecedented 25% off all earrings at Diamonds Direct. Get Diamonds Direct's unbeatable price plus an extra 25% savings. All diamond studs are included, so this is huge. Special financing too. Guys, you can never go wrong with a nice pair of diamond stud earrings. And you've never seen prices this low. It's Friday through Sunday only. A truly epic earring event at Diamonds Direct.
Olive in 270 at City Place.
Visit Shane Company for meaningful holiday gifts. Our in-house design team creates unique styles of fine jewelry in every price range. Exquisite symbols crafted with superior standards and made to last a lifetime. We have a variety of diamond infinity designs to symbolize your everlasting love. We're also known for our natural and vibrant rubies, which represent enduring passion. Or select a stylish necklace with a stone in her favorite color or her birthstone, so you'll always be close to her heart. Our jewelry consultants in the store and online will help you find something beautiful to put under the tree. Your gift will be a symbol of your love that will be treasured forever. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and Shaneco.com. Open weekdays 9 till 9, Saturday 10 till 8, and Sunday 11 to 5.
Hey there, it's Billy with Inside Out Tax. I used to work for the IRS, and I help people every day get to the bottom of their tax problems. What most folks don't know is that the IRS by law only has 10 years to collect a tax debt. Once this date expires, the debt is removed. If you have a tax debt that you'd like for me to look at, then give me a call to set up a free 30-minute consultation at 636-495-5700, or reach out to us through our website at InsideOutTax.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Omaha Steaks. You can find them at omahasteaks.com. If you go to the search bar at the top of the page, you type in my last name, Glover, and it's going to take you to our own little section of the website where you get the DGS deal, the Deluxe Grillers assortment featuring Omaha Steaks Butcher's Cut Filet Mignons. These beauties are perfectly aged, hand-carved, and famously fork tender. Also included in the package are tons of incredible meats, amazing sides, and the infamous Omaha Steaks desserts. So if you need a reason to celebrate in this very strange year of 2020, or just a way to celebrate, go to omahasteaks.com, locate the search bar, type in my last name, Glover, go to the separate page of the website where you're going to get this great offer. It's also going to include 4 free burgers and a free digital meat thermometer. These are great products from our friends at Omaha Steaks. That's omahasteaks.com, search bar Glover.
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
We've crossed another awful milestone. Lisa Brady, Fox News. The number of U.S. deaths from COVID-19 is now more than 290,000, as the worldwide total of cases tops 69 million. An FDA advisory committee holding a meeting today on the Pfizer vaccine. A vote to recommend its use in the U.S. could come later today, and officials are trying to reassure the public about 2 patients who had an allergic reaction to the vaccine in Britain.
What we were told from the UK is these were 2 individuals who were very hypersensitive, hyperallergic, the kind of person that needs to go around with an EpiPen because they could fall over at any moment.
White House Task Force member Admiral Brett Giroir tells Fox News they will study that data, and the FDA could add an advisory for patients with a history of allergic reactions not to get the vaccine. Yesterday, the U.S. had more than 3,100 deaths, a new single-day record, and more than on 9/11 or D-Day in World War II. The U.S. goes on the attack against terror groups in Somalia, where the president has ordered a withdrawal.
The U.S. military launched 2 drone strikes Thursday against al-Qaeda explosives experts in Somalia, days after announcing all U.S. troops would be leaving the war-torn country. It's not clear how many Shabaab fighters were killed. Late last week, President Trump ordered all 700 U.S. troops out of the country. At the same time, al-Qaeda-backed fighters were killed in Somalia. 2 U.S. B-52 bombers flew nonstop to the Middle East from Barstow Air Force Base in Louisiana, the second deterrence mission against Iran in recent weeks.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon. President Trump has also ordered a drawdown of troops in Afghanistan and Iraq. But the Trump administration also continues to push its new approach to Mideast peace. Morocco today becoming the 4th Arab nation in 4 months to agree to normalize relations with Israel. America is listening to Fox News.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Carolers! That's the holiday spirit. Speaking of which, Simply Safe Home Security is having a huge holiday sale. Right now, you can get 40% off a new system and a free camera at simplysafe.com/holiday. That's 40% off the system U.S. News named the best of 2020. Simply Safe protects your whole home 24/7 with monitoring by professionals. The sale ends soon, so go to simplysafe.com/holiday for 40% off and a free camera today.
Bria's Fashion Boutique is the worst. First, they asked me if I needed help finding anything. Just because I'm gorgeous doesn't mean I need help.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then they tell me they're having a sale. Oh, so you're assuming I'm poor. Cool.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
Also, they tried to give me the friends and family discount. I'm not your friend, so...
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Sunshine in control, nice temperatures, above average by 20 degrees, 65 doing it for the high today. Tonight, partly cloudy, 40. Friday, clouds, rain for the afternoon, a steady rain, 58. That steady rain continues for Friday night. Over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, clouds control. It's colder, Saturday, 49, Sunday, 40. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it's a right fit for you. And check out the podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's digital editor, Megan Crane.
Selling your home is a big deal. That's why you need to work with an agent you can trust. It will help you sell for the most money possible, especially in this hot market. Hey, Mark Cox here, letting you know that's why I trust and recommend Gloria Liu with GL International Realty, part of Coldwell Banker Premier Group. You've heard it before. Gloria has the buyers. What that means to you as a home seller is Gloria may already have your home's buyer. Gloria has thousands of ready-to-go buyers, which creates higher demand and many times multiple offers. Time after time, Gloria sells homes at record speed with full price offers. That helps you achieve your goals, whether it's moving out of state or into that dream home Gloria found you across town. Here's the best part. Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed-to price, or she'll buy it. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Boardroom, Out of Office Podcast. My name is Rich Kleiman, and I'm the co-founder of 35 Ventures, alongside my business partner, KD. This show is all about the stories, the successes, and the struggles that have driven my favorite entrepreneurs in sports, business, entertainment, and technology. We're going to be talking to industry leaders about who they are, how they got here, and the things they've learned along the way that you might not expect. So subscribe and listen on Apple Podcasts, radio.com, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Happy from Hardee's. Listen closely. Do you hear that? That's the sizzling sound of 2 1/3 pound juicy Angus beef patties stacked with 4 strips of bacon on the Monster Angus Thick Burger. You're getting hungry for the bacon. You're driving to the Angus beef. But wait, don't take your eyes off the road for the monster. When I snap my star fingers, you'll pull into the nearest Hardee's and order the Monster Angus Thick Burger. Feed your happy.
Available at participating restaurants. Price and participation may vary.
The Monsheen team, they are the #1 agents for Berkshire Hathaway Alliance Real Estate since 2005. That is a long time going, folks. If you are looking for somebody who can sell your house, who is going to be dedicated to all of the details that need to be taken into account when you are looking to sell your house and to sell it fast, you want to go with the very best. And that's Christy and JT Monsheen, mother and son team with the Monsheen team. MONSCHEIN, the Monsheen team. You can call them right now or stick this phone number into your phone and give them a call when you're ready. 636-537-8288. 636-537-8288. Their professionalism goes beyond the sale. They care about each and every client. That means they care about you. And every client experiences the personal touch and the results that these #1 agents deliver each and every time. With over 60 years of collective experience in the business, they are there to help you and to get your house sold fast. Reach out to them at 636-537-8288, online at themonsheemteam.com.
Critical thinking for critical times. The free exchange of ideas. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Download the radio.com app and stream the station wherever you go. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
There was a deadline of 8 minutes and 10 seconds, 11 seconds, 12 seconds ago for the 4 states that are being sued by the state of Texas to give their response to the U.S. Supreme Court. So that should have been turned in as of 2 o'clock our time. And so we're gathering more information on that. I know, Ryan, you've got a couple things we'll get to in a few minutes. I'm Mike Ferguson, in for Annie Frey. But I did ask the question right before we went to the news. So I just want to follow up on it. because we talked about it, a couple hours ago. We had a lot of people that called in, and then we had that interview to get into. And so there's a lot of people, I think, who wanted to have a say on it, but didn't. And it didn't look like everybody agreed with me. And I mentioned that last night, I just texted some of my friends, hey guys, I want to get out of the house. Let's go meet up. And so I don't even think of staying in St. Louis County where I live. I now go to St. Charles County. If somebody says, hey, let's meet up for coffee or whatever, great. I will drive, 15, 20 minutes over to St. Charles County. It's not that far, not that big of a deal, but that's where I'm going to meet you because they're allowed to be open. And, we were talking about how the big corporate places, your Targets, your Walmarts, your CVS, your Walgreens. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking those businesses. I shop at most of them at some point or another, but they're going to be just fine through something like this. And then when you get somebody like Sam Page in or JB Pritzker in, it's the local businesses that really get hurt. But the big businesses, they hurt a little bit too, because if you don't have your job or you don't have your hours, you're not going to buy as much stuff. That's just all there is to it. And so the question I had was, where are you shopping now? Because my guess is going to be St. Charles County, because I got to that restaurant there right off Mid Rivers Mall. The parking lot was full. Not every seat was taken, but it was pretty close to taken. And by the time that Matt and I were done, I was, it was probably half full because we were there a couple hours because I was avoiding my wife's girls' night at the house. But last weekend, I went to the streets of St. Charles, couldn't even get into a restaurant because the wait line was so long.
Wild.
And so we went up to Main Street and you had a great meal there as well. So people still want to get out. And when people like Sam Page continue this assault on businesses and give stay-at-home orders, and by the way, once again, in case you missed it earlier, Sam, I disobeyed you again. And I'm very proud of that. And so at some point, there's got to be a breaking point at some place in this entire situation, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the big box stores being the ones that benefit from this and the small stores, but we forget too that really, because there's no indoor dining, it's not just small restaurants that are hurting. It's also, in that situation, big chain restaurants that are benefiting, because I have some, friends and church members that I know who work at or manage different drive-through, Hardee's and things. They said they're actually doing pretty good because drive-through is doing so good.
Oh, McDonald's is doing great.
Oh my
right?
gosh,
Exactly.
it's on
And so,
popping.
Right.
if you have a if you have a drive-through, you're probably actually benefiting from this. Although, like you said, long-term, Mike, if people overall have less money and they're spending less, everybody's going to be hurt.
Well, and fewer people have money. I mean, if you're running, like, let's say a McDonald's or a, Hardee's or Chick-fil-A or whatever, you can cut your staffing in half because you don't have that front line with the dining room area.
True.
And so fewer people are getting hours. I actually was, talking to my daughter about this. She's 22. She's in college. And, obviously when she's not at college, she's back at the house and she works at one of these restaurants. Well, she's getting basically 1 day a week is all she's getting. And I said, here's your economics lesson, Amber. Can you imagine if you did not live here at home? Can you imagine if this happens, say, next year when you're out on her own? Because that's what she wants to do. I said, you've signed a lease. You've got, the light bill to pay, the water bill to pay, maybe a gas bill to pay, and rent to pay, and you're not making any money. That's why this hurts so bad.
And if you try to back out of the lease, you're going to owe some money too.
And your credit's going to look awful. And you're going to have that on, because I've worked in that industry a little bit. If you broke a lease, it's on there. I mean, it really is. Now, if you bought your way out, you're fine. But that if you can't afford the rent, you can't afford to buy it out. Trust me, there's a reason they put those provisions in those contracts. And so this is the area where, there are restaurants in St. Louis County that still have the dining room open on the down low. The ones that went out public with this and pushed back, your Satchmos and places like that. And by the way, I respect the heck out of those businesses for pushing back, and I'm glad they're still fighting. I wish more of them would fight. But at this point, I'm basically saying, businesses, if you're not fighting back at this point, I'm going to St. Charles County. I like St. Charles County anyway, but I'm not even, it doesn't enter my mind right now to go buy dinner when I want to eat out from any place around me. Because they may be shut down, but even otherwise, I'm like, if you're not fighting back, why am I fighting for you? So hopefully the pushback continues, and Sam Page maybe comes to his senses at some point, but he's proven to be really vindictive. The businesses that pushed back the loudest, those are the ones that he went after and had their occupancy licenses pulled, and he just went hardcore. And I'm telling you, the businesses that I have been around, they are scared to death of Sam Page. They're yes, I'm sure they're worried about COVID-19 because it's a virus, it's out there, we're all worried about it, but they're scared of Sam Page. Not scared of the general government. They're scared of this one person who is and that tells you he's abusing his power.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ryan. Go for it.
Well, we talk about Illinois a lot.
Yeah.
And the fact that the governor has put in these regulations and he's used the health department to do it, and he's used emergency orders and things, and he's well beyond the 30 days or whatever he gets to do those things. And so there's been a lot of legal challenges. I haven't heard that happening as much in St. Louis County. Maybe it is, and I just haven't heard it. But
well, yeah,
does
because
it exist?
They did pass a plan there that says no. After so many days, the county council has to approve this, and Sam Page has basically said symbolic, meaningless. It's all my authority, and that's being figured out right now in courts. Even if it is, it's a mark of a terrible leader to not include the elected representatives. I understand he's elected, but all of the council, the rest of it, for him to say, I am the one giving the decrees, it starts and stops with me personally, is the mark of a bad leader. And that's what I'm saying. Sam Page is a bad leader. He's more of a, and I understand the word tyrant gets thrown around. And I think it gets thrown around too easily. Tyranny is a massive word that I think a lot of people, but he's deciding who gets to keep their livelihoods. And he does not seem to show any concern for a lot of people right now.
It seems very arbitrary.
It is very arbitrary. Yeah, it really is. So there's my rant.
It was a good rant.
So
call us.
I mean, it's one thing. Yeah, exactly.
If you feel the same.
Yeah,
or
or disagree. Yeah, 314-241-9797. And it's not just about bashing Sam Page, although, set me free and I could bash him for hours on end. Don't get me wrong. I have no respect for him whatsoever. But the other part is, okay, we didn't know we were dealing with earlier. Governor Parson says a stay-at-home order. Governor Pritzker has a stay-at-home order. Both of them were unconstitutional. Neither one of them should have been obeyed. But people said, okay, we don't know what we're talking. We don't know what we're dealing with here. We're just gonna trust you for a little bit. And then it keeps getting extended. It keeps getting extended. It keeps getting extended. Now the businesses don't get to come back. This business can open. This business can't. Churches have to shut down. I'm talking around the country now. Casinos can stay open. Strip clubs can stay open. Liquor stores can stay open. So we're just going to pick it all. And, we understand there's a virus out there. You can't stop a virus with a politician's decision. That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah, exactly. So you ready for some Supreme Court updates?
Let's do that real quick, and then we'll go to the phone lines here as we're figuring out who's ready to call in. But yeah,
all right. Now this isn't the what just came in at 2. We're still waiting on that. That may be a few hours before we get to see anything.
At least, yeah.
But a few updates. Jay Sekulow is reporting that Justices Alito and Clarence Thomas have both said that the court is required to take this case under original jurisdiction.
Interesting.
And so that's 2 of 5 needed to at least take the case. Now, that doesn't mean that they will, that they could still deny it, but that's at least 2. And so they only need 3 more justices to take the case in the first place, which is a huge hurdle to get over. It does look as if, and there's a lot of different sources on this and it's happening fast. So, forgive me if it's not exact, but apparently the District of Columbia, DC has filed amicus briefs in support of the defendant states, along with, it looks like something like maybe 20 other states are supporting that. So the battle lines are being drawn. Excuse me. And as we've said before, when we talk about, I think it's Missouri and 18 other states that have said they're going to join or back.
I think it's 17 states and they're joining Texas, and that's
joining
18,
Texas. Yeah. Right. Okay. So apparently Ohio there's different reports that they are joining it, others saying that they're not. So something's happening with Ohio right now. But so we got roughly 17 states. Those are also amicus briefs. So those aren't states that have joined the suit. They are basically saying we support the suit. Now, President Trump is asking to join the suit, though. So he would be I don't know what the legal term is for it, but an offended party, correct?
Yeah, or a plaintiff.
Plaintiff.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I'll let legal minds smarter than mine figure that out, I guess. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, we could have some kind of news, throughout the afternoon. I'd be a little surprised if we do, but we do know this: the Supreme Court has to make a decision on whether they're going to get involved, and if so, what they're going to do very, very quickly. The Electoral College meets on Monday.
Correct. Yeah. And so we'll know by this time tomorrow, we should know a whole lot more about what's going on, and we'll obviously be reporting it all.
Can you believe it's December and
we still don't know.
And we still don't know. I
No.
mean, I think we saw this coming, especially when the mail-in ballots became a factor. But my gosh, it has been so long since November 3rd, and we still don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think everybody's resigned to either they're excited about or they're just resigned to the fact that Joe Biden's going to be the president. Unless something huge happens, but it's not settled. To your point, at this
Ryan's
point.
one of those people that's very optimistic about Trump.
I am still very optimistic. It really, at this point, it hinges on this Texas case.
Oh, it does. I
mean,
think that's the one last thing that could make any sort of difference.
This is it. I do think we'll still hit the deadline of Monday, but the question will be if the Supreme Court, these are big ifs, if the Supreme Court says, yes, these 4 states acted out of line, there are a lot of votes that shouldn't have been counted, then what do those state legislatures do? That's the question.
Sneak in one call before the break here. All right, let's go to Jim, who had some thoughts. We were talking about the whole COVID-19 situation a little bit earlier. Hey, Jim, thanks for calling in. You're on the air.
Thank you, Mike. First of all, I agree with you about Sam Page. I work in Jefferson County, live in St. Louis County, and I cannot believe how busy all the restaurants are out here in Jefferson County where I work. But, Mike, my other thing comes to this, and I find this so ironic. I watch television, network, or cable. I go to my internet, for Facebook and things to see, and then a lot of times you get interrupted by these little commercials for products that will help you for depression or skin or bowel movement problems or everything. And they all tell you what the side effects could be. Basically, all of them come to the point where they could kill you.
Right.
How ironic is it, Mike, that this vaccine has a 95%
efficacy
to make you well, make you better. But the FDA is moving slower than a small snapping turtle to get this approved. Yet I watch all these commercials for all these other things that if you take it, it basically could kill you or make you violently sick. But we can't release this vaccine. Do you find this ironic, or am I just being silly?
Well, we moved really fast with the development of it. And Jim, I'm going to answer your question, and we're going to have to go to a break here in just a second. But I think it's a fair question on this is that, the FDA, apparently they're going to approve it faster than normal, but it's there. Other countries have approved it already. The distribution has already begun of the Pfizer one. The Maduro one, I think, is what we're waiting on. So with Pfizer, there could be vaccinations starting, for instance, like next week. So that could happen. But yeah, I love all those commercials. This is going to cure your depression or cure your whatever. But by the way, you could have a rash, terrible abdominal pain, or burst into spontaneous human combustion as a side effect, just to let you know. But that only happened in rare occasions. All right. Just ahead here, the top sports personalities of St. Louis, like in the last 50 years. Who just came to your mind? Okay, Ryan, Katie, I'm asking you next. Who just came to your mind when I said that? I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey. We're going to talk to our good friend Kevin Wheeler from KMOX Sports just ahead.
Good laughs.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
This is Sean Rimmerman. I'm your host of We're Having a Senior Moment every Saturday morning on 97.1 FM Talk. Are you having issues coping in the time of COVID? Do you need some assistance making sure that your family member, that your loved one is safe, is secure, and as independent as possible? Give us a call at Comfort Care Home Care. We want to make sure that you and they live their best lives possible. Call us at 314-965-9600.
Mark Cox here for my friends at Pretzel Stop. You've heard me talking about Pretzel Stop for a while now. They're right there on Jungerman Road, just off Highway 94 next to Kohl's and across from Walmart. And Tony and his team are doing a great job. They've got an enormous variety of brats and sausages stuffed into a pretzel bun. But Pretzel Stop's about a lot more than that. They've got gourmet sandwiches, the chicken salad pretzel sandwich. They've got gourmet burgers on a pretzel bun, barbecue on that warm pretzel bun, and even pretzel pizza. And they've got pretzel bites that are out of this world. Do yourself a favor and stop by there. They've got desserts like fruit smoothies and sinful sundaes, and they've got you covered. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, catering. They can even customize the shape of pretzels for parties. So for more information, check them out online. You can find them at pretzelstop.com or at 1650 Jungerman Road in St. Peters.
Attention St. Louis homeowners. Are you looking to sell your house without all the stress? Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can buy your house cash and close on your timeline. No commissions, no repairs, no appraisals, no showings, no headache. Call Chris now, 314-782-7000, or go online to chrisbuysHomesSTL.com to get a free no-obligation cash offer for your house. Behind on payments? The tenant stopped paying the rent? The house needs too many repairs? Not a problem. Chris buys houses in any condition and deals with any situation. There's a reason why Chris Buys Homes is the most trusted home buyer in St. Louis. Go online to get your offer today. chrisbuysHomesSTL.com or call 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000.
If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you have heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple on the station as the financial expert for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend on 97.1 FM Talk, and in case you miss any of those shows, on his podcast on radio.com. That's radio.com, and search Safe Money 97.1. So call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DH Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC. Anton's Air Conditioning and Heating is proud to announce they have air sterilization technology, proven to safely kill the COVID-19 virus airborne and on surfaces. Right now, receive a COVID relief finance offer of no payments for 18 months. Whether you are home or back in the office, Anton's will make sure your air is safe. Go to antonshvac.com and schedule your free consultation today. And no payments for 18 months on all products offered by Anton's Air Conditioning and Heating. No payments for 18 months.
What a year this has been. For St. Patrick Center clients, pandemic worries are magnified. How to pay rent, find a job, buy groceries, care for children, and more. St. Patrick Center programs and services are needed now more than ever. This holiday season, help prevent homelessness in our community. Your gift helps keep a family safe at home. To donate, visit stpatrickcenter.org. Thanks to you, veterans, families, and individuals will be home for the holidays.
You're tuned into 97.1 FM Talk, and so is St. Louis. More and more people are tuning in every day for information with perspective. It's 97.1 FM Talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
I just learned a life lesson. Right before you go back on the air, don't take a big bite of a piece of caramel.
Yep.
Just learned that, huh?
That was a mistake. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey, who would probably not make that mistake since it's her show. It is 2:28. We're going to talk to our good friend Kevin Wheeler here in just a second. But I asked a question right before we went into commercial. The top 50 sports personalities in St. Louis over the last 50 years, or top 10 at least. Who came to your mind when I said, who's the top sports personality of the last 50 years?
Kurt Warner.
Okay.
Pedro Guerrero.
I
Sorry.
see. Pedro Guerrero. Ozzie Smith came to mind for me. That's who came to me.
That would have been my pick.
All right. Well, let's see what Kevin Wheeler has to say about this. Kevin, first of all, good to talk to you again. Secondly, the new list is out, and it's great for just fun and talking. But what were they looking for when they're talking about the top personalities in sports in St. Louis?
That's a great question. I mean, I think that was put that way to leave it kind of open-ended, right? So it's not a statistics-based argument or who won a World Series or who didn't win a Stanley Cup. So I think it was phrased that way. So it kind of includes everything, right? I mean, I think of Ozzy first up if we're talking about the last half century. But I mean, I think guys like Brett Hull, for example, who really made a major impact on the sport of hockey in St. Louis, just the sheer appeal that he brought. And again, when you go into the word personality, I mean, Brett Hull is a Hall of Famer as a player. He's a Hall of Fame personality too.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's a really interesting way because I think it allows for impact beyond numbers, right? I mean, it allows for who helped grow a sport, or like in Ozzy's case. I mean, he's got the numbers, he's got the World Series, he's in the Hall of Fame, he's got the backflip, right? He's got the whole thing, and he's got the time after his retirement too, where he's been a huge part of the community. So I kind of like that framing, because if you go a little bit more kind of achievement oriented, then we get bogged down in things like sports guy stuff like statistics and postseason records and things along those lines. And I think it's more fun to talk about it in this way.
Oh, absolutely. And if you want to see the list, you can go to our sister station's website, KMOX. But what happened is the Missouri Athletic Club did a poll, and it's just the top 50 St. Louis personalities of the last 50 years. Like, for instance, Tony La Russa is number 10.
Right.
I mean, obviously guiding the Cardinals this whole way. And then we talk about personalities near and dear to everybody in this business, Jack Buck.
Yep. Again, that's kind of the beauty of it, because, I mean, how many people, even players, how many people impacted sports fans in St. Louis more than Jack Buck did?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he was the guy that guided you through the summer. I mean, and through a lot of those 50 years, we have to remember, a lot of those 50 years, the games weren't on television every night. That's a relatively recent development. So again, that's kind of the fun of it, is allowing for, it to be much bigger. I know that, like, on that list of 50, I think I rank like 9,412, something like that.
I just want to point out before, Ryan, we get to your question, that in last year's strange season in old man baseball, I hit 400, and I'm not even on the list. I'm not sure how that happened.
That's amazing.
Nice. Hey, yeah. The last time, I haven't played old man ball in a while because I coach a lot, but I went out, I think it was a summer and a half ago, and I went 3 for 6 in a couple of games. So yeah, I'm going to roll with that too. I'm a 500 hitter.
There you go.
Man, I hate to hear that you're in the 900s as far as sports impact in St. Louis.
No, 9,000.
9,000s. Because you're our sports expert. And I was going to ask you some questions about sports, and I don't know if I trust you. But
yeah. There's just been too many people that come before me. It's about their impact, not about their opinions. I've got plenty of those opinions.
Well, before we ask you any questions about, actual sports, let me ask you one more about this list, because we tend to look at these things. This actually made national headlines. I saw it in national news. It's very interesting. I think Brett Hull was at the top of it, which is why it was headline.
Brett Hull's number 1. Yep.
Yeah. So with lists like this, which you've probably seen a 1,000 of these things because they happen, but this one's pretty interesting. And since it is getting national news, and with St. Louis, it's more interesting. With these personalities, is there always a tendency, though, to only include the people that have been within our lifetimes? I mean, is there anybody that is deserving to be on this list that would be before we were born?
If we want to go further back, but I mean, if we're looking at, I'm trying to do the math with the 50s, we got to start from basically 1970 forward, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we go back that far, obviously Lou Brock, certainly Lou is on the list. I mean, he's Lou, one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, Lou is number 3.
Yeah. So, God, I'm trying to think of anybody that, like, I mean, the number one sports figure in St. Louis history is Stan Musial. I mean, I think everybody would probably agree with that. Like, if you took a poll of sports fans, you're going to get his name is going to be the right answer. But it just goes back too far. He didn't play in my lifetime. And, again, I go back to the 70s as far as my memory goes. And I think that's part of the reason why you keep it recent, right? Because, the people that are going to respond to polls and the people that are going to be interested in the conversation are probably younger than 50.
Yeah, right. I'm just a purist. It has to include all of time.
Well, then you can also add Branch Rickey to, if we want to go all the way back. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he would be one of the most influential people in the history of baseball, let alone St. Louis. I mean, he essentially created what minor league baseball was.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let me read real quick just the top 10 here. I said Tony La Russa, number 10, Jack Buck, number 9, Ryan O'Reilly, number 8, Bob Gibson, number 7, Yachty, number 6, Kurt Warner, number 5, Albert Pujols, number 4, Lou Brock, number 3, Ozzie Smith, number 2, Brett Hull, number 1, and I hear that he had a drink to celebrate that he was on top of the list. I haven't confirmed it, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah, and again, I would probably find a way to move Jack Buck up, but again, none of this is criminal. I mean, you're right. This is a conversation for fun. And I noticed what's interesting is reading out of this, how important the Stanley Cup win was to people, basically 2 years ago now, 2 seasons ago now. Ryan O'Reilly's only been in St. Louis for a couple of years, but that's how big of a deal winning the Cup was. That a guy that was largely responsible for that cracked the top 10 after just basically 2 years in town. That's remarkable. And I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying it's remarkable. It shows you how much that achievement meant.
Right. Speaking of which, is there any news on the coming season? Last time we talked to you, I think we weren't sure if they had a start date. Do we have any news there?
Yeah, they're getting there. Pierre LeBrun has been reporting on this for The Athletic. He's one of the best hockey reporters on the planet. They've got realigned divisions that have been proposed. They're not finalized yet. And by the way, if it were to stay the way that it is, the Blues would be in the division with Anaheim, Arizona, Colorado, Dallas, San Jose, and Las Vegas. So they would be in a real heavy Western division if this were to stay the way that it is. But they're targeting January 13th. To get things started, and ideally right around the first of the year for training camp. So again, these things are still being finalized, but they got past some of the financial hurdles. And really what happened was the players said, no, we're not giving anything more back. And the owners were like, well, we got to move forward anyway. So they did, and they'll find a way to get their money some other way. But it sounds like January 13th is the target unless something changes.
Okay, let me ask about baseball here. I've got the really nerdy question up front, and then Ryan and I suspect we're on the same page on the big question for the Cardinals right now. But the nerdy question is minor league, because that was mentioned a couple minutes ago, being redone in Major League Baseball. St. Louis's minor league system is going to look differently. Do we see any overall impact to how the team's going to develop talent from that?
Probably not. What basically has happened, and this was in the works before COVID. But COVID sped up the process because the teams are looking to cut costs wherever they can. So they're reducing the size of the minor league. So the Cardinals have had in the past 4 full season affiliates, right? That would be Memphis at AAA, Springfield at AA. They had Palm Beach in the Florida State League and Peoria in the Midwest League. And they still have all 4 of those, with Peoria and Palm Beach flipping roles, right? So the Palm Beach team used to be the higher A-ball team, and Peoria was lower, and that's just flipping because those leagues have been flipped by Major League Baseball. But what's being cut out is like short season ball and some of the rookie ball leagues. So like the teams they had in State College, Pennsylvania, Johnson City, Tennessee, those are gone. Those leagues are being converted to other types of leagues. They're still going to have people like in the low levels, like the Dominican Summer League, for example. That's a league that'll still happen. The Gulf Coast League. And those are for the kids, people that are kids, like teenagers, high school kids that are drafted, or the international signees. So it's being the total volume of minor league players is being reduced. Teams are being pressured to pay minor league players more, to provide better benefits for them, to provide better facilities, better food for them, because they do work, guys. They work way below minimum wage. Minor league players make absolutely nothing. I mean, we're talking like in some cases $1,200 a month, and they only get paid in the regular season. They don't get paid in spring training. They don't get paid in the off season. So there's pressure to improve that. So one way to help improve that and have the money to do it is to reduce some of the volume of players. So it'll kind of take out some of those kind of Cinderella stories, the 1 in a million guy that may not have made it otherwise. And the focus will be then on the higher end, higher draft pick prospects, who will now have more resources going towards them.
We're talking with Kevin Wheeler, KMOX Sports reporter. I don't know if you know this, Kevin, but Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright are currently not under team control. And
I better go get to work on that.
Right. I know I'm breaking that to you here on 97.1, but Do you know any more updates from the last time we talked to you?
Not really. So John Mozeliak held a Zoom conference yesterday and covered a lot of things. And one of them was that they're still actively engaged in talks with Yachty and Waino. But the way Mo put it was, and not necessarily specific to them, because the team does not talk about negotiations or details of negotiations with players, whether it's their own guys or outside free agents. But that there's no real big hurry right now because nothing's moving very quickly. It doesn't sound like the market for either of those guys is going fast. Some of the interest that teams have in Yachty may be dependent upon whether or not they end up getting the other free agents that they want, right? If they're looking to go after JT Realmuto, for example, who's the best catcher in the game today.
Yep. Oh, yes, absolutely.
If teams miss out on him, that will probably speed up the market for other catchers, and that would include Yachty. But so there's kind of a waiting game going on with that. Last night we had our first basically hot stove show, right? It's the countdown to opening day show that we do on the Cardinals radio network. And we had Mike Schilt and Bill DeWitt Jr. and both of them said the same thing too, that the team wants to have those guys back. But right now it's just a matter of letting the market dictate where contracts are going to go and then what interest there is, right? If they have a difficult bidding process, they might have to end up, paying more to keep those guys around. And if the interest in those guys is a little quiet, well, then they may end up spending less on them, which would leave more to spend elsewhere. So it's a waiting game, which totally stinks. Mo said yesterday that January may be the new December because December's normally the busy month in baseball. He said it may be next month rather than this month. Not for those two, but for just the general activity in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Kevin Wheeler from KMOX Sports. Always appreciate the insight. Of course, you can find him at Kevin Wheeler 94. And if you want to get back into old man baseball, just let me know. I can connect you. I'm just saying.
All right. Well, if I have a weekend free where I'm not traveling for coaching, I'll come out and I'll go 3 for 6 for you.
That sounds good. That's good. All right. All right. Thanks, Kevin. All right. So here's a question. It's non-political here, just ahead. What's in a name? There is actually I intentionally don't know a lot about pop culture, but there was a news item that popped up with one actor, and she got criticized by some of her fans, and they're questioning her because of the names of her kids. I'll tell you why, because it's not just about the actor. There are other people who just think it's their right to get involved in other people's business on things like this. And yes, it has to do with being woke. I'm Mike Ferguson, in for Andy Frey.
Sit beside me, my only son. Listen close.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show.
To what I say. And if you do this, it'll help you.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get in your comfort zone with 0% financing for 72 months and Carrier Cool Cash rebates on qualifying equipment when you purchase and install a new HVAC system. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Michael's Flooring Outlet, your home for flooring when you want to make a purchase for your home, for your commercial place of business, or maybe if you're helping remodel, your church, you can go to Michael's because you're going to get a few things each and every time. The first is quality. The flooring there is beautiful. They have a huge selection, and it is going to be the quality that you expect when you're going to invest in this new part of your home or your place of business. The second thing you're going to get is great customer service. Every single time, the expert staff at Michael's Flooring Outlet is going to make sure that they have met all of your needs, talk to you about what you're looking for to pair you with the exact flooring that you desire. And the third thing, and in my opinion, the most important thing you're going to get is value. You're not going to get value in flooring like you get at Michael's Flooring Outlet anywhere else. Reach out to them and ask them about their Mohawk Smart Strand, Forever Clean, Aero, Revwood Plus flooring, their waterproofing flooring as well. It's amazing, the selections that they have, and they'll get you set up right away. 3 locations, St. Charles County, West County, Darien Prairie, online at michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
The COVID-19 pandemic continues to weigh on us. While we all feel helpless, remember there is much we can do to protect ourselves, our family, and friends, all of us. Simply get in the habit of wearing a mask and maintain 6 feet of space between yourself and others in public. Wash your hands often and stay home if you feel sick. It takes all of us to combat COVID-19. Go to cdcfoundation.org to learn more.
This Movember, here's to the straggly mustaches, the lopsided ones, the oddly sexy ones, the itchy, patchy, raggedy ones, the peach fuzz ones, the hey, I look good with this ones, the scruffy ones, the black, blonde, red, and gray ones, the ones grown by dad, the ones grown for dad. They all raise awareness, raise funds, start conversations, and save lives. Because whatever you grow will save a bro. Learn more at Movember.com.
Guys, 2020 has been a rough year on everyone, and that includes your wife or girlfriend. So spoil her this Christmas by treating her to some rest and relaxation with the world's softest pajamas, exclusively from Pajamagram, America's PJ experts for nearly 20 years. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. They're silky smooth on the outside, soft like a baby bunny on the inside, to wrap her in warmth and comfort all winter long. Just the ticket for melting away her stress and helping her to relax and restore after a long day and year. And right now, when you order today, you'll get a great deal. Free gift packaging. That means you don't have to wrap a thing. Get her the world's softest pajamas and get your free gift packaging today before this deal disappears. Just go to Pajamagram.com. It's fast, easy, and delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. That's Pajamagram.com.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The Dave Glover Show.
Stop screwing with each other. Not only is it hurting us, but we used to be kind of cool in the world. I'm not so sure anymore.
Weekdays at 3, FM Talk.
She said it's cold outside and she hands me my raincoat.
One of the things that I think has been one of the negative effects about social media and the social media world that we have is that the good part is it connects us with people we maybe couldn't or probably couldn't ever connect with before, whether they're famous or not, or just somebody of like mind. But one of the bad things is so many people have come up with this conclusion that say, I've got a right to get involved in your life to any degree I want on social media. Nothing's off limits for conversation. So no boundaries when it comes to things. And there's an actor who, her and her husband had a couple kids, and some people really felt that they had a right to question her choices on some things. And we'll get to that in just a minute. I'm Mike Ferguson, in for Annie. And Katie, there is an update. And we're like, I didn't know Mike was going to be filling in. Well, I didn't either.
Yes, yeah. So a lot of people are asking where Annie is and if she's okay. Annie is totally fine,
Yes.
But she is having some personal health issues that she is going to be discussing tomorrow on the show with everybody. So make sure you tune in 12 to 3 tomorrow. Annie will be talking about why she was absent today. And yeah, just join us there.
And she's not leaving.
No.
She's not leaving.
No, these are personal health issues.
Yeah, exactly. And so I mean, so with I live 15 minutes away. I can get down there.
And thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
no,
so
it's
much for
great.
coming in.
I love it. So okay, so here's the thing that I found is Mindy Kaling. Yes. She's I've seen her in a variety. She's very funny. She's a really good comedy actress. And her and her husband had they've had a couple kids, and they just had a little boy. Had a little boy named Spencer. They've got a little girl named Catherine, and you would think that everybody would just agree on, hey, congratulations, just like with anybody else. who, has a kid. Congratulations. Well, some of her fans on social media took issue with the name Spencer and Catherine because in their words, why are you giving your kids Caucasian names? As though it's anybody's business. I mean, are names inherently Caucasian? I don't know, Kelsey might be, Brock might be, but other than that, are there any, is it anybody's business? Because she's of Indian descent. Her family's full-blooded Indian, as in the nation of India. And it just kind of amazed me that she felt the need to respond and go, their middle names are Indian. But you know what? To me, the right answer is because I like those names. Shut up. It's none of your business.
It doesn't take away anything from her culture. It
Right.
doesn't take away anything from her heritage or her family's heritage. This is a decision that she made as an adult with her husband, and it's a family decision. Those names could have meant they could mean something to her and her husband. They could be old family
Right.
names. I just don't understand why we have to be so righteous in every single thing that we do now. And I don't necessarily know if it's just the woke left. I think it's just the internet. It's just people that are constantly trolling day in and day out, feeling like their voice might not be heard in their everyday lives. So they go on the internet and they have to find something as stupid as this and say, I'm mad.
How about congratulations? We're happy that your family has added to your household.
This is part of a broader movement to tell every individual group. I was going to say racial group, but really it's just cultural groups.
How to be.
Yeah, you stay in your lane. You can't get outside your lane. We are telling you what you are, and if you get outside of that, then you're wrong. It's the whole the Hollywood thing where if you're Lebanese, you can't play a Saudi Arabian because that's racist.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing how self-righteous these people are and the rules that they make up for other people.
Yeah.
And everybody, not everybody, there are people who decide, well, this is a serious discussion we need to have, and we don't. So I just did a search on Mindy Kaling and like kids' names, and I found one that was posted, looks like just a few hours ago, on an opinion website, and a clinical psychologist, an adjunct assistant professor, which means he's on the bottom rung of Columbia University, decides to write an op-ed saying names like Mindy Kaling's kids are often a result of parents always hearing theirs mispronounced. Here's the byline here. Research on name-based microaggressions suggests they push some people to make changes, but the effect on those who become parents is more pronounced, as though there's some big psychological thing, and the default setting is you have to name your kids what we expect of you, as opposed to what names do you actually just like. And the idea that if I can't pronounce your name, if you're from another culture, that's not a microaggression. Maybe I just fumbled it.
Man.
Yeah. Let's root out every injustice in terms of microaggressions of names, but we also don't care at the same time that 270,000 ballots crossed from New York into Pennsylvania. Oh well.
Yeah, but what what names were on those ballots, and were they ethnically appropriate?
That's a good question, Mike. I didn't even ask it. It's because I'm not woke.
That's right. But that's the thing is, and this is an academic who's clearly, thinking that this should be taken more seriously than she and her husband name their kids what they want to name them, and somebody else decided to venture into a territory that's just none of their business.
Yes, which is why the internet, which is why it can be so detrimental to people's mental health and to their well-being, because everyone has to say everything that they think with no filter all the time, and without even thinking about the repercussions that it has on someone else.
Right.
We have given up on being nice and kind and courteous to other people because we have the internet.
Because we're keyboard warriors.
We are. And you know what? I have social media. I need these digital platforms. I need the internet to do my job, my day-to-day job. I know Tyrus just ragged on us for saying that, but you do. We all do. Even the construction workers, whoever you are using digital media or the internet in some capacity. So we need it. We depend on it. But it's just so sad that we have come to this. It's so sad that we are abusing it.
Yeah. and we're abusing people through it. I think
Yes.
is another way to say that, because, you know, and it's not just social media. People with this idea that you're not allowed to go outside your lane. I think you said that earlier, and I think that was perfect the way you said that, Ryan, is you're not allowed to go outside your lane. This is your category. You can't do anything else. I mean, we've seen stories a couple years ago where there was a college student who had like cornrows, you know, done in his hair, and he got absolutely accosted and shouted down by some people who said that was cultural appropriation. He had no right to wear his hair like that. You know, other people saying, well, we've got expectations that you're going to have this sort of culture. How about people just do what you want to do? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you know, my children are mixed race. My ex-wife is Filipino, and we didn't even consider whether or not we should consider ethnicity. We just named our kids what we wanted to name our kids. It was just that simple. It just never dawned on us that we needed to have the right representation.
Well, the problem is now that you've said that publicly, now you're going to get shamed.
Bring it on.
Me and Katie are going to start
Yes.
shaming you.
That's
Jim,
right.
Jim on Facebook says Mindy is not married, so this might just be a significant.
Okay, significant other, part spouse, part, whatever it is. Okay, yeah.
But I think this is a broader conversation too, because are we fighting for individuality? Are we fighting to allow people to live their lives and be okay with it on the right and the left? Or are we telling people to stick to your lanes, shut up, do what you're good at, and don't do anything else? And that's where like I get very confused about with the left, because in one hand, they want us all to be fighting simultaneously for everyone's individual freedoms and identities. And on the other hand, they're telling us this is what you should be doing because this is the right way to be doing it.
Yeah. I mean, it's assimilate into groupthink.
Yeah.
And here's the category you've been assigned. And it's not even just ethnicity. In this case, it's somebody who's Indian American, or if you're Black, or if you're Hispanic, or you could probably even go to other categories. If you're gay, if you're whatever. And instead of just saying, do what you want to do, and everybody else, just leave them alone. I mean, you know, and the fact that she felt the need in the PR driven entertainment world, not only to respond, but to say, oh no, we've got Indian names in there for the kids. They're the middle names. I just don't think she should have felt any pressure for that at all. Not that I give a hoot about celebrity culture or pop culture, you know, but yeah, that's where we are. And the internet just makes it more accessible.
We got like 10 seconds, but really quick, the Supreme Court news. Apparently, Pennsylvania's response to the case is that their legislature and their attorney general have agreed with Texas.
Whoa.
They're apparently not fighting against Texas. They're basically, as defendants, agreeing with the plaintiff.
I bet you Mark Cox is going to have something to say about that in the morning. All right. It's been great being here again. DGS coming your way. I'm Mike Ferguson, in for Annie Frey. She'll be back here tomorrow.
So beat the drum with me. I'm not a man.
It's a busy time of year, and it's a busy time of need. Mark Cox here. SSM Health, Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital needs